It's time to add some spice to your nooner. Nooner funny. This is the place where big-time guests, bold opinions, and little cute doggies come together. This is Rothman and Ice.
Sponsored by Pella Columbus, the #1 rated windows and doors in Columbus.
Oh, and here we go. Welcome in to another edition of Rothman and Ice. I'm Matty Ice. CB is in the house doing his thing on the board. And to my right, it's the Bake Show. Ryan Baker is in the house. Bake Show, that. Welcome in. You like the DJ horns I got for you, man?
I like that.
Yeah,
That's
we got to get it
That's
going,
good.
man.
It's better than the applause that, Timmy Hall does for me.
Yeah,
so
I got to get the horns. You want it again? How you been, man? What's been going on?
I've been doing well. So last time you and I did a show together, it was the first time, I believe, that you sat on that side of the table.
Yeah.
And you've been doing it ever since. How is that going?
It feels good.
You're like a tackle switching back and forth from the left to the right.
That's a good call right there. The first time I did this, I said to you, it's kind of like when you're in your own car, right? But you're in the passenger seat for the first time. The view is just completely different. It's an awkward type of vibe. But no, man, I am good. It's great to be over here. I call it the big boys chair. I was at the kind of the little kids table. It felt like over there for a while now.
You graduated up.
Had to level up. You know what I'm saying? Had to level up. Folks, thanks so much for joining us. Hope you guys have had a nice start to your Tuesday. We got a nice show coming at you today. 12:33. Jared Dubin covers the NFL for CBS Sports. He'll hop on to talk about, some of his takeaways from week one in the preseason and what's ahead, in the weeks to come because the season is right around the corner. 1:33, we'll go around the Big Ten with John Steppe, who covers Iowa for the Gazette up there. We're going to take on Luke Lachey and how they're looking so far out of the gate. And then 2:33, we'll zoom out from the Big Ten and do some national talk with Brad Crawford from 24/7 Sports. Always just a quick reminder that if you ever miss anything from our show, wherever you get your podcast, type in Rothman and Ice. Everything we do from noon to 3 will be available for you. And do not forget to subscribe to the podcast as well. Also want to hit you with this reminder because the Fan Store right now at 971thefan.com is popping. It's popping. If you want some fan gear, here's what you got to do. Head to 971thefan.com, go over to the, quote, cool stuff tab, and click the Fan Store, and you'll be headed in the right direction. Baker, we got T-shirts all over the place. Whatever you're interested in, we got it. We got shirts for each show. For our show right now, AR's all in on the seasonal weather that we get here, and he says it's only 3 seasons, cold, wet, and hot. You can get that T-shirt popping for Rothman and Ice. I know there's an On the Money T-shirt. Common Man and T-Bone have T-shirts right now. We got to get the print the shirts popping right now. We got to get
Why is that not there?
I don't know. That's a miss. That's a miss by me. I'll get the people going on that because I think we need to get a print the shirts T-shirt going right there because, me, I planted my flag for our Reds months ago, and it was silly to do, but I couldn't help myself. And CB made some, I think, AI-generated, voice note of me saying print the shirts, and I don't really think it's me, but CB is officially print the shirts season. Yeah, that was the tough
That
look
could be admissible in court.
You know what I'm saying? You never know at this point in time, with this AI stuff that we got going on. But it is cool, Bake, when you go over to the Fan Store right now and see what we got cooking up right now.
So get you a couple Will Howard shirts and a Emeka Egbuka shirt, a Carmen's Crew, fresh off the win.
Shout out to Carmen's Crew.
I mean, there's some good stuff over there. So, yeah, check it out for sure.
Shout out to Sully, too, by the way. That was impressive how he got it done, right? When you talk about that game-winning bucket he hit, Sully still got it, man.
That was one of those no, yes shots right there.
You know what else has been a no for me this morning? Is seeing that apparently Will Levis is getting ready to debut some mayo-scented cologne. What are we doing here? Yeah, exactly. That's the perfect reaction that you should have because if you don't know or if you don't remember, a couple years ago, Will Levis, who is now the quarterback for the Tennessee Titans, he was quarterback at Kentucky for a while. He likes to put mayonnaise in his coffee, which to me I think is you deserve at least a night in jail for that. Like, I don't know what we're doing there. But you found out this morning that he has not only continued to do that, but the man has turned that into a check. And look, I'm never really mad at anybody getting a bag. If you can find a way to capitalize on something, do it. But now we're talking about mayo-scented cologne, and the name of this is Perfume de Mayonnaise, number 8. And here's the official description for this. At the heart of the fragrance lies a creamy, daring mayonnaise accord, offering a smooth and complex heart. Parsley adds a fresh herbal element reminiscent of a well-prepared dish. And of course, this fragrance would not be complete without subtle coffee undertones reminiscent of Will's signature mayonnaise-infused caffeine beverage. A sensual musk base weaves through the composition, evoking physicality and charisma. Finally, we finish off with a comforting, creamy vanilla finish that is equal parts inviting and intriguing. Did I sell you on that, or will you be ordering some number 8 Perfume de Mayonnaise?
I'm not going to lie. That just hearing you read that makes me want to take a shower. Like, we all think it's funny, you know, the Duke's Mayo Bowl, and they dump the tub of mayonnaise on the coach. But all I can think of when I see that is like, oh, that's got to be it's got to smell terrible, and it's got to be sticky, and it's got to be gross, and I just want to take a shower right now.
I really hope that this isn't going to sell. Like, there's no way dudes are going to be buying this, right? Like, okay,
like, here's if Patrick Mahomes did this, maybe you'd get a buyer or two. Not Will Levis.
Mayonnaise?
Ugh.
I don't even think Patty could sell this right now. And he's the guy. What it will take, I think, is for him to ball out and for just some crazy, you know, Tennessee Titan fans to be all in on their guy to do this. But even if you buy it, I don't think you're wearing this on date night. You're not pulling this off on date night.
I mean, maybe she's into that. I don't know. Maybe you find the one girl that's all about it. But
maybe she's into mayonnaise. I think by far for me, mayonnaise is the worst condiment. It is bottom of the barrel condiments for me. Get it out my face. I don't want it on anything. Are you a mayonnaise type of guy?
No, I'm not a huge condiment guy anyway.
Oh, okay.
I just I'm more of a plain guy, you know? Like I can go to McDonald's and get a cheeseburger that has ketchup and or mustard on it and that stuff. I just prefer the taste without. So I'm not a big condiment guy.
You might be out on it, but for Will Levis himself, it helps him date very famous people, so I think it's working out for him.
Wait, who are these people he's dating?
So Gia Duddy is a very popular influencer or whatever. That was if you remember his draft, that was the woman sitting next to him in the green room when he was there for 2+ days because he made it to the next day. But now he's dating Victoria Fuller, who was very popular on The Bachelor series.
Am I okay to search these on the work computers?
Is that
okay? Or
Victoria Fuller, probably yes.
By the way, CB, what do we got right now? The Bachelorette popping off right now.
That's
on TV?
right. That's right.
Who is the Bachelor? Who is she?
So I honestly have not been following the season along that closely. But no, I probably will get back into it probably when they start Paradise next summer.
Wait, what is? Oh, the Bachelor in Paradise. Where isn't that?
That's when it's a big group and they intertwine dating. Yeah, it gets a little messier because of that.
From former seasons, right? Coming together, or is it people that used to be on The Bachelorette or The Bachelor, or is it just new people?
So a lot of them are people that have been in the system.
Gotcha.
Yeah. So Jen right now is the Bachelorette who's on to her hometowns.
Oh.
I don't think many of the fans of the actual series are very happy with maybe the group that's made it to this point. So,
okay.
Yeah.
I feel like that's a guy, that's spoken like a guy that just got engaged right there.
You know what? CB's a changed man. CB is leveled up. I'm proud of him. He's got a lot going on. He's got the beard growing back. Now, the beard's looking good, man. I know that was a little mishap that we had going on.
It was
but now,
whoopsie.
Yeah, it was uh-oh.
That's when the old shaver guard is not on tight enough, and it kind of slips, and then you got to go baby face.
See, I'm always scared to mess around with my beard. Like, I just leave it to my barber. Shout out to my barber, Theo. He gets me and the homies right all this. He's been cutting our hair for years.
Well, when you're CB and I, you don't need a barber, so you got to take care of
Why
the
don't
stuff
you guys go
that's
to the
on your
barber
face.
shop? You just...
Well, there ain't nothing to cut up top. It's kind of a waste, right?
But like, if you've got a function and you want to clean up the beard, like I definitely go to a barber shop actually over in Gahanna to get taken care of.
There you go.
I have never in my life paid for a haircut because my grandfather was a barber my whole life growing up. And by the time he passed, I didn't have enough to worry about. So I've never paid for anything in my life.
Okay.
Haircut or beard trim related.
When did the hair officially leave you? When was that?
It was probably like officially, let's just start buzzing it down all the way, late 20s.
Okay, late 20s.
I hung on to it as long as I could.
Yeah,
but
I'm not mad at that. I'm not mad at it. I think I'm terrified of what I look like with a bald head. I got a big old dome. I got this Jimmy Neutron dome over here. If you remember Jimmy Neutron, the cartoon character, his dome was absolutely ridiculous. That's what I got going on.
I mean, we could bust out the cul-de-sac if we wanted to, but I just don't think that's a good look anymore.
No, I think we need to get you to a barbershop and get the beard nice and crispy, you know? Get you lined up, maybe get a little taper on the side, really blend it together.
Seems like a lot of wasted time to me. Yeah, I mean, I'm sure it'd look nice and he'd do a great job, but it seems like an hour or two out of my day that I just don't have.
Oh, you're that busy. Huh?
And you have to pay. I keep the money, pay for something else.
A little trip to Roosters.
Yeah,
that's a trip to Roosters right there.
Absolutely.
So yeah,
You're speaking my language.
Yeah, no, I just the whole mayonnaise cologne thing. I don't know what we're doing here, but I guess anything is marketable. Now I'm with you, I'm the opposite of you when it comes to condiments. I need all the condiments I can get, especially when I'm doing sometimes I like to do like plain wings, and then I'll just run up the sauces. Give me the hot garlic, the barbecue. I need them all. French fries too is whenever. That's my problem. But I'm not eating French fries for the whole year. I don't know if you heard.
You giving them up?
I haven't eaten a French fry in the year 2024.
Well, that's good.
We're gonna make it all the way to the finish line.
January 1st, 2025. It's on.
Listen, when the clock hits midnight on New Year's Eve, it's champagne bottles and French fries for the rest of the night.
Is this just French fries, or is this like all forms of fried potatoes? Or
no, I've had, I think I had breakfast potatoes at some point, but just
hash
French
browns
fries
and stuff like that.
Not a hash
brown, but like
a red skin potato
fries or something.
For sure. I love a good home fry.
No potato wedges.
So really, you're hoping for when Ohio State makes the quarterfinal, they're playing in like the Rose Bowl on the 1st instead of. I forget which games are on the 31st.
Yeah, you're right. And hopefully, for a lot of Buckeye fans' sakes, this year when the clock strikes midnight, the field goal will actually go in. Like it wasn't that crazy, just the timing of that. Literally when the clock is going like 4, 3, 2, 1 at the game.
It was amazing.
The ball was dropping at the same time. And that was just so
what a
unfortunate.
Disappointing way to start the year.
It's just one of those big what ifs because they go on to the next game. They're winning it all. It was just absolutely crazy. Coming up next, the Bengals. They got hit with some unfortunate injury news when it comes to an important offensive piece. We'll talk about it next. It's Rothman and Ice right here on The Fan.
Here's a listener tweet. Are Men and Bone stupid in real life? Yes. Yes, they are. Common Man and T-Bone.
Weekdays from 3 to 6.
The Fan.
Experience a piece of history this September and pay tribute to those that have served in the Vietnam War. Delaware County Veterans Services invites you to visit the Wall That Heals from September 12th through the 15th at Havener Park in Liberty Township. Witness the official 3/4 scale replica of the Vietnam Memorial in Washington, D.C. The Wall That Heals is free and open to the public 24 hours a day until 2 p.m. on the 15th. For volunteering opportunities and to learn more, please visit thewallthathealsohio.com.
That's the sound of sweat. Falling drip by miserable drip. Because your AC has decided to call it quits in this heat. But the Waterworks Heating and Cooling team never quits. So no sweat. The Waterworks offers same-day AC service to help you keep your cool this summer. And that sounds amazing. Call the Waterworks Heating and Cooling team, 614-333-9720, or schedule service on our website. The Waterworks. Better care, better value, better AC.
When there's a United Dairy Farmers nearby, special savings are too. Stop by while energy drinks are buy two, get one free. Monster, Celsius, Red Bull, and more for less. Only with UDrive Plus at UDF.
Hey, it's Anthony here for my friends at Germain Honda of Dublin. Rich is rolling out all of his new Hondas at 2.9% up to 60 months. Just not including the Civic Si and Civic Type R, but all the other awesome new Hondas, 2.9%. You love certified? He has the dream deal. 0.99% APR for 36 months on the 23s and 24s, Civics, HRVs, CRVs, pilots, and passports. When you think Honda, you have to visit Germain Honda of Dublin, Sawmill Road, just south of 270.
Wendy's new Saucy Nugs come in 7 saucy flavors. Yep, you can literally hear your taste buds going. Taste bud sounds may vary. For a whole new way to nug, gotta be Wendy's. Open till midnight or later.
At participating U.S. Wendy's, hours may vary by location.
Here's Here's a quick listening guide. When something's on the fan, it's on the station you're listening to right now. If I say something's on ESPN Columbus, it's on 1460 AM and the Fan's HD2. When in doubt, stream it on the Fan app. Thank you and good night.
It's time that we face the facts when it comes to organ, eye, and tissue donation. It exists to save and heal lives. It's a way to look out for one another, to continue a legacy and give the gift of a fuller future, the gift of life.
But what about the barriers around organ donation?
Cost, age, religion, race, or health status are not factors that can get in the way. All it really takes is one epic yes. Register today to become an organ, eye, and tissue donor at donatelifeohio.org.
Meet animals from around the world as you explore the Columbus Zoo and Aquarium. Whether you're fascinated by the towering elephant or playful sea lions, we have it all at the Columbus Zoo and Aquarium. Visit columbuszoo.org to plan your visit today.
It's the summer sell-down at Performance Chrysler Jeep Dodge Ram. Get 0% for 36 months on select Wranglers, Gladiators, and Grand Cherokees with no payments for 90 days. One Performance, 2 locations, Georgesville and Delaware.
With approved credit from Stellantis Financial Services on select 24 in-stock inventory. Cannot combine offers. Ends 8/30/24.
Hello, it's John Kozik, founder and president of TurboTrack Realty, and I buy real estate as is fast for cash. Give us a call today for an all-cash offer at 614-470-2000, 614-470-2000. I buy vacant properties, inherited homes, divorce situations, death in the family. I even buy my tenants won't pay me the rent houses. Give us a call today for an all-cash offer at 614-470-2000, 614-470-2000.
Do you have foot pain? Foot pain is not normal regardless of your age or job. Podiatric physicians are the most qualified doctors to care for your feet and can provide important foot care solutions or shoe inserts to better manage foot pain. Ohio Foot and Ankle Medical Association podiatric physicians are located throughout the state and are dedicated to providing the highest quality foot and ankle care. We've been serving the profession and the public for over 100 years. For more information or to find a member of the Ohio Foot and Ankle Medical Association near you, visit ohiofoot.org.
Fan weather.
From the Logan AC and Heat Services Weather Center.
Today, partly to mostly sunny, high 84. There may be a stray shower possible between 1 and 9 o'clock this afternoon. Dry overnight tonight with a low of 60. Tomorrow looks sunny with a high of 87. I'm meteorologist Dylan Robichaud with your 10 TV weather impact forecast on 97.1 The Fan.
Bet365 is the exclusive online sportsbook of Rothman and Ice. Whatever the sport, whatever the moment, it's never ordinary at Bet365.
You're listening to Rothman and Ice, the #1 rated midday show in Columbus.
Sponsored by Pella Columbus, the #1 rated windows and doors in Columbus.
Welcome back in. Matty Ice, CB in the house, and Ryan Baker, the Big Show, filling in for AR today, bottom of the hour. Jared Dubin covers the NFL for CBS Sports. He'll join us to talk about everything happening around the National Football League. You know, it's just football's a brutal sport, as we all know. CB made me aware today that, you know, one of the running backs for the Giants that's been in the mix, I think it's Tyrone Tracy. He went down and the cart came out and they brought the air cast out. You just keep your fingers crossed, right? You know, if you're a fan, obviously we're all fans of a specific team, but that your team can stay as healthy as they possibly can, because it's just a grind, man, and you can't avoid it, right? Because you got to get the bodies right and all that stuff to get, you know, ready for camp and for the games.
Gibbs with his hamstring injury, that's a big one.
It's a big one, right? Especially for us fantasy lovers and just how great he can be in the high ceiling of Detroit this year. So just all of that stuff just kind of hovering over us.
Chase Claypool, IR, season ending. I don't know if he was what he was going to factor into the Bills' offense, but the one thing we know is the Bills need receiver depth. And, you know, Chase Claypool, obviously, it hasn't worked in his first 2 stops, but all it takes is him to find a niche with Josh Allen. And
I've been out on Claypool, man, for a couple years.
And I understand that. I'm just saying it's receiver depth that they don't have.
That's a very good point, right? They got a whole bunch of guys that it seems like they're just throwing stuff at the wall to see, you know, if it sticks. And hopefully Curtis Samuel, the former Buckeye, can carve out, you know, a nice role. He's linking up again with Joe Brady. Those guys spent time together in Carolina, so I'm sure he's got a nice vision for him. Let's go down to the jungle. Cincinnati, they got hit with some unfortunate news. You know, they came out of the first round this year, and they tried to really bolster up that offensive line again, taking Amarius Mims out of the SEC, played at Georgia, and there was, a lot of hope that he could hit the ground running right away and be maybe their starting right tackle. It seems like maybe at least the start of his NFL career when it comes to real games. He may miss some time. We don't know just yet, but we did get the report yesterday when we left that right tackle Amarius Mims will miss several weeks with a strained pec muscle, which is just, and you mentioned this to me earlier, like that just has to be awful for an offensive lineman. But let's hear from Zach Taylor. Here he is on the injury.
We've been in situations where we've had a lot worse news than this, so he's done everything he can to put himself in a position to be a great player for us immediately. And this is just an extremely minor setback, short-term wise, and expect him to get a great recovery. And really remains to be seen how quickly he'll get back. I mean, I don't want to put my foot in my mouth and give you all a timeline because that's an impossible situation to be in, but, optimistic that we'll get him back in several weeks.
Not great, Bake, when you think about, obviously, this guy who you want to get as many reps as possible going up against the Sam Hubbards and the Trey Hendricksons of the world, and those guys really kind of showing him the way he can get a real feel of the NFL game and what that's like. But you've also got this Jamar Chase thing, too. So two key pieces, right, that you want to get everybody on the same page with, haven't been out there, won't be out there, practicing together. But, yeah, you feel for the guy Mims because it seemed like they really liked him, and he was going to have a chance to be their guy right out of the gate at right tackle.
It's not great in that fact that he was, by all accounts, having a great camp. You've seen videos from practice of him ragdolling defensive ends and linebackers for the Bengals in practice. So from that aspect, obviously it's not great. But if you're the Bengals, you still have Trent Brown, who's a pretty good offensive tackle in his own right. So you have Trent Brown, Orlando Brown, both of those guys, just like Amarius Mims, monsters on the outside. They're huge guys, so you don't have to change your scheme or what you wanted to do with them. And also, let's not forget, and Amarius Mims, if he was good enough, if he won the position, that's great. But this is a guy that really only started 1 year at Georgia. Doesn't have a lot of game experience under his belt. So if he has to start the season maybe watching a few games while he gets a little more acclimated, that may not be the worst thing.
Not at all. Not at all. You just hope, and I don't know, you're not a Harry Potter guy, I don't think, but like the Dementors are like these Dementors, these kind of just dark, black, ghostly things that just suck the life out of you. Like, you hope those injury Dementors just leave the Bengals alone. Because I know I got a big, one of my best friends is a Bengals fan, and he's so high on this team because he knows with the T. Higgins thing, the uncertainty that's on the other side, just as far as how high their ceiling is, this may be one of their best cracks at getting it done, as far as going to the Super Bowl. You mentioned Trent Brown, and it does seem to be pretty good insurance. You just hope his availability is better than what it has been over the last few seasons. Last 3 years for Trent Brown, 9 games, 17 games, and 11 games. So it's a brutal position. It's a grind down there in the trenches, and those guys are putting their body on the line a ton. Let's also hear from Zach Taylor outside of Amarius Mims, how the offensive line is starting to come into form.
I think there's competition there. I also think, you look at, and we went through this today, there was essentially five straight 3-and-outs with the second group, which is probably why we're asking this question, but it was all 11 guys on the field played a part in that, and so there was tough runs, that there was more to have there where other guys are involved, not just the offensive line. And so I think that was our point of emphasis is, we just got to be better in a lot of different things, but I think there is still a lot of competition, in the latter half of that O-line room, and it can shake out a lot of different ways. There's no set number on how many we would have to carry on the 53. Practice squad obviously allows flexibility at that, but I think that there's a lot of open-mindedness that can occur with the group that's back there battling.
Hopefully you got 5 guys that you're confident in going into those first couple of weeks, because out of the gate, it's the New England Patriots, and Matthew Judon is an explosive pass rusher. And I know, there's some uncertainty around him and whether or not he's actually going to be a Patriot. He's doing the holdout thing. Maybe they can figure out a contract there. But in week 2, it's the Kansas City Chiefs. And while, yes, Joey B and the Bengals have had a lot of success against Pat Mahomes and the Chiefs, that's Chris Jones, one of the best defensive linemen in the entire sport, getting after you. So just hopefully the chemistry can come together, because we know, if those guys are going to hold up, number 9, number 1, and number 5, those guys can get busy if you give them time.
And that's the thing to me. Obviously, this offensive line is important. And I think with the veteran guys that the Bengals have brought in the past few years, I think this offensive line is going to be good enough. The whole thing to me is if number 9 is healthy. Yeah. I have no worry about the team down there on the river as long as number 9 is healthy.
I think that's fair. I think that's absolutely fair. Did you see the new reveal of a new uniform the Bengals are going to be rocking?
I like
today?
it.
I love it.
I like it.
It's a funny story, too, because the way that this came to the surface was because Madden, obviously the video game, people were playing with the Bengals. And when you go to the uniform tab, you could roll through some of the alternates. And people were realizing, wait a minute, you can play with the Bengals and put them in orange pants?
They've never worn orange pants
worn orange pants. What is this about? So people started putting screenshots of that out all on Twitter. And then you had the Bengals themselves tweet out kind of like, I guess, the cat is out of the bag. So this seems to be official, and I'm all in. You got the black top with the orange pants, and it looks like they're going to rock these when the Brownies come to town late in the year. I don't know exactly when that game is, but I saw a graphic floating around, and I believe that is going to be the date. And it looks like that's going to be Thursday, December 19th, and that game obviously will be on Prime, but we'll have to wait a while for that. But I'm all in on the Bengals alternates because I love these orange pants, and I think their all-white alternates are the best in the game. Like when they roll out the Young Jeezy cocaine all whites, like I'm all in with that. I love it.
They're pretty good, but I like the orange pants a lot. I'm a big, you need contrast and like that orange with the black. It's going to be so good.
Yeah, it's good. They got good colors, man. So, yeah, that's out there as well for you Bengal fans. Something to look forward to. It looks like that's going to happen again on December 19th. Coming up next, Jared Dubin covers the NFL for CBS Sports. We'll get his take on, this Bengals team going into 2024 and a lot more. It's Rothman and Ice right here on The Fan.
If you consider yourself a Buckeye fan, you've come to the right place. This is your heritage sports talker and home of Ohio State Athletics, The Fan, Ohio's sports destination.
1-877 Cars for Kids. KARS Cars for Kids. 1-877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today.
Donate today at carsforkids.org. That's cars with a K. Your car can be picked up as soon as the next day. Receive a tax deduction and vacation voucher.
1-877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today.
Now accepting donations of land, homes, buildings, or any kind of real estate.
Straight from the manufacturer, cabinets are a better value. That's why you need Choice Cabinet for your next project. All wood, quality cabinets from an Ohio business that does things right. Choice Cabinet, 216-378-9313 or choicecabinet.com.
Hi, Bob and Teresa Capace here. Anniversaries are a big deal and meant to be celebrated.
Join us for our 24th anniversary at Worthington Jewelers. Enjoy 10 to 60% off to celebrate this event, August 15th through the 17th.
Worthington Jewelers, your local hometown jeweler.
Get Eco.
ECO.
Hey, Aaron.
Hey, Jerry. Pretty hot this summer, huh?
This kind of heat makes me want to invent something that cools everything off.
Well, they did invent the air conditioner.
Get Eco.
ECO.
Get Eco today, and we'll fix your AC today.
Your house will be cool like snow.
Cool like an ice rink.
Fixed in a blink.
Faster than you can think.
Our plumbers can even fix your sink.
Well, plumbing won't help much with the heat. But yeah, we can fix your sink and anything else that has pipes attached to it.
Get Eco.
ECO.
When your house is cool, your people are cool.
Our HVAC technicians can be at your house today and quickly repair your air conditioner today.
Fix the sink and cool off with a drink. Ooh, I need to invent a new drink.
I'll bring the ice.
Get Eco.
ECO.
Get Eco.
ECO.
Get Eco.
ECO.
Eco plumbers, electricians, and HVAC technicians.
GetEco.com.
Bishop and Friends.
Joe, you like these things so much, why don't you try eating these in the contest? A meat stick is going to stay together. But in a non-meat stick situation, it's anarchy.
Bishop and Friends.
Sponsored by Awaken 180 Weight Loss. Weekdays from 9 to noon.
The Fan.
Direct Auto Insurance is for uncompromisers. The people who refuse to make trade-offs in life. Like Kelly, when her old car insurance got so expensive that she couldn't afford to drive anymore, do you think she started carrying her groceries for miles? No. But she did find Direct Auto's savings that allowed her to drive instead of compromise. With savings of up to 25%, you too can stop compromising and keep driving. Get a quote today at directauto.com. Savings based on applied discounts and will vary. Terms apply. How you buy can affect price. National General Group, Winston-Salem.
And At Bet365, we don't do ordinary. We believe that every sport should be epic. Every home run, every hit, every inning, every play, from the moments that are legendary to the ones that fly under the radar.
Whether it's a walk-off granny or a base hit to center field, whatever the sport, whatever the moment, it's never ordinary at Bet365. 21 and older, must be present in Ohio. If you or someone you know has a gambling problem and wants help, call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Prescriptions require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for details and important safety information. Subscription required. Price varies based on product and subscription plan.
Hey guys, did you know there's a generic form of Viagra that works just the same but is 95% cheaper? And you can get it online at hims.com/joy. Through Hims, you'll get a free medical consultation to determine the ED medication that's best for you. Discreet shipping if prescribed, a 100% online process, and a range of treatment options, including trusted generic alternatives to the name brands at up to 95% off. ED is personal, and at Hims, so is treating it. Just go to hims.com/joy and get connected to a licensed medical provider online for free with zero copay, no expensive appointments, and no awkward face-to-face conversations. To start your free online visit, you need to go to this exclusive address, hims.com/joy. That's hims.com/joy for your free online visit. hims.com/joy.
Rothman and Ice is sponsored by your local Pella Window and Door showroom on Gemini Parkway. The Fan, Ohio sports destination.
True to his name, Matty Ice wears a winter coat in the middle of summer. He lives the gimmick, man. You're listening to Rothman and Ice.
That you are. Welcome back in. Matty Ice, Ryan Baker in the house today for AR. We're going to light up the Bryant Heating and Cooling Systems fan guest hotline right now and bring on our guy, Jared Dubin, NFL writer for CBS Sports. Jared, what's up, man? How you been?
I'm doing all right. How about you guys?
Good. Appreciate you giving us some of your time. You never want to overreact to preseason week number 1. We all understand that, but I do want to ask you this. Did you have a takeaway, one big takeaway, a player that really jumped out to you, maybe a flash or two from a player that you liked coming out of the preseason in week 1? Who you got?
Yeah, I am definitely on the side of don't overreact or even react necessarily to anything that happens in preseason. But I will say it was encouraging to see the skills that you thought you were going to see from the highly drafted quarterbacks. Caleb Williams showed the ability to create late in the downs. Jaden Daniels had that big throw up the sideline where he apparently changed the play before the snap, which I think is a really cool and good thing to see out of him. But yeah, those are kind of the big things for me. Is the high draft quarterbacks. You want to see them at least show the skills that were the reasons why they were drafted, and I think that they both did that.
You talked about the quarterbacks there. One, obviously, that we're well aware of here in Columbus, J.J. McCarthy of the Vikings. He looked pretty good, but sounding like there's some knee issues now, maybe even possibly a knee surgery, some talk of that. What can you tell us about J.J. McCarthy and his injury?
Yeah, the Vikings just announced it, that he's going to go get a surgery for a torn meniscus in his right knee. I have actually had multiple meniscus surgeries on my knee, so I can tell you that if he gets a repair on that meniscus, then he's going to be out for the season, almost for sure. It's a several months long recovery. But if he gets that meniscus trimmed or removed, then he'll be able to come back sometime in the first few weeks of the season. So it's going to be, until after that surgery, they'll let us know, obviously, what type of surgery it is. And when that comes, we'll know at that point how long he's going to be out.
Yeah, pretty unfortunate for them out of the gate, that's for sure. Jared Dubin, NFL writer for CBS Sports, joining us here on The Fan. Jared, before we brought you on, we were talking about the Bengals. And, speaking of injuries, their first-round draft pick in Amarius Mims looks like he's going to miss some time and maybe, an early portion of the season. We don't know about that just yet because of a pec injury. When you look at this offense, a lot of familiar faces, but some new faces at running back. What are your thoughts on, the Zach Moss and Chase Brown duo and what those guys can do to potentially help out Burrow and company?
Yeah, I'm excited to see what they have in Chase Brown. I think in the limited opportunities that he got last year, he showed some explosiveness, which I think is something they've been missing in the backfield. Joe Mixon has basically gotten what's been blocked for him for several years, and I don't think he topped 4.1 yards per carry in the last 5 years, and he was below 4 in 2 of them. So being able to have someone that can maybe break off some big plays, I think is going to be a good thing for them. Moss isn't necessarily that big play kind of guy either, but obviously coaches love depending on veterans that know where to be and why and when. And that's something that I think Moss has shown the ability to do throughout his career. So you're going to see both of them, I would imagine, unless one of them so badly outperforms the other that it just becomes obvious that you need to make that guy the guy. But it's an interesting mix for them, especially because they've leaned so heavily on one back over the last few years.
Talking Bengals, we know that Jamar Chase is sitting out of camp right now, waiting for a new contract. There's also another really good receiver down in Dallas with CeeDee Lamb, who wants to get a new deal done as well. What is your sense on both of these players and these contract negotiations, and who do you think gets done first?
Yeah, I mean, my sense is that the teams are kind of working against their own interests by not just paying them right away. The price of these players that are, among the very small handful of best players at their position, it doesn't go down. You're waiting to get a better deal. It's not going to happen. Once that Justin Jefferson deal was signed, especially, that is the market for those two guys now. And just waiting any sort of length of time is only going to make that price go up. So you should just do it as soon as you can, because that's the only way that you're going to get the best deal possible out of it. And, especially in Dallas, because CeeDee's heading into the 5th-year option year of his rookie contract. Chase at least has one more year after this one in terms of, the definitive team control before you have to start using the franchise tag and whatnot. But they're delaying this, and it makes no sense to me on really any level.
Jared Dubin from CBS joining us here on The Fan, talking all things NFL. It seems like the Houston Texans are set up to really have a really good year, right, with just everything that they've done this all season and what we saw from C.J. Stroud out of the gate. Jared, I want to zoom out from Houston but stay in that division and ask you this. Which team do you think is set up to be the biggest threat to the Houston Texans in the AFC South?
That's a good question. I don't know that there's necessarily one in particular. It's if the Jaguars can get their offense back on track, then it might be them. If Anthony Richardson can stay healthy and Shane Steichen can get the best out of him, then it might be them. I think the only team that's not really necessarily positioned to challenge for the division is Tennessee. I think the offensive line still needs a bunch of work. DeAndre Hopkins is injured, so that improved skill position core may not necessarily be as improved as they want it to be. And then I think that they've got some issues on the back end too. So, I can see 2 of the teams, I guess, potentially challenging them, but it just sort of depends on which team of those can get the most out of their offense.
Jared, this Hassan Reddick situation with the Jets is just crazy to me. They trade for a guy that they know was wanting a new contract, and then they seem reluctant to give him that contract. Now he's requested a trade. The GM has said that's not happening. Is this the most Jets thing ever?
Pretty much, yeah. I mean, other than Aaron Rodgers getting injured 4 plays into last season, once they finally got a quarterback that they felt good about, this might be the most Jets thing ever, yeah.
Let's talk about the Kansas City Chiefs because, I think the new toys they have, there's some excitement around them. I know Hollywood Brown is banged up, but when you look at Rashee Rice, Xavier Worthy, Hollywood Brown, let's say he is available week 1. Between those 3 wide receivers, which one do you think will pop off for them more? We know Kelsey's going to be, an absolute guy for Mahomes, but the 3 wide receivers, who do you like more in Kansas City?
Yeah, I mean, I think that Rice obviously has established himself already as a really good player. Maybe a little bit of a different kind of player than you thought he was going to be coming out of SMU, but the way he was able to create after the catch last year and the way he was able to get things going from the slot, I think that's really important for them. And then Worthy and Brown, I think, are going to be those guys on the outside that are sort of stretching the field. And, they haven't really had a downfield element of their passing attack over the last couple of years. Even that final season with Tyreek Hill there, teams started playing them sort of with that heavy, too high defense style, cover 2, cover 4, a lot of different stuff to sort of force them to check down repeatedly to move the ball down the field. And that's what they've had to do. But now that you got 2 of those guys on the outside, maybe stretch the field a little bit more. There's obviously been a lot of talk throughout training camp that they're trying to make more big plays down the field and things like that. So, we'll see what happens there, but I'm really interested to see how those 2 guys work out. And, obviously Brown is going to miss a little bit of time. We'll see if he's back for the regular season. But, apparently Worthy looks really, really good in training camp, and that's an encouraging sign too.
We all think the AFC North is going to be really, really good, maybe possibly the best division in all of football. Do you think it's the best division in football, and how do you see the AFC North playing out this year?
Yeah, I think it's got a pretty good argument to be the best division in football. Maybe the NFC West can maybe challenge for that. If Arizona and Seattle take a little bit of a step forward from where they were last year. But, I think it's pretty clearly, to me, the Ravens and the Bengals at the top of the division, followed by then the Browns and then the Steelers. Like, the Steelers, we don't know who's playing quarterback for them. The idea that they're going to seriously challenge for the division seems a little bit, outlandish to me. And then Cleveland, like, as much talent as there is on that team, like, Deshaun Watson has not been good in 4 years at this point. Regardless of the reasons that he missed time, which obviously was his own fault for, allegedly or, doing reprehensible things. When you see a quarterback not be good for that long, it generally does not come back, regardless of, whether it was deterioration of skill or injury or any other reason. Like, a quarterback that goes that long between being good, you're usually not going to see him be good again. So I can't trust that we're going to see, the version of Deshaun Watson that we saw in Houston. That player just might not be there anymore. So to me, if Burrow is healthy, Cincinnati, and if Lamar is healthy, Baltimore, those are pretty clearly the 2 best teams in the division to me.
He's Jared Dubin, NFL writer for CBS Sports. Jared, we always appreciate your time. Thanks for chopping it up with us, man, on a Tuesday. Have a good one.
Thanks for having me. I appreciate it. Have a good day.
Yeah, you too. Anytime. Jared Dubin was on the Bryant Heating and Cooling Systems fan guest hotline. Coming up, how is Jeremiah Smith handling the high expectations that have been placed on him this offseason? He will tell you next. It's Rothman and Ice right here on The Fan.
Your morning just got beefier. Morning Juice with Beamer, Bobby, and Shark.
Weekdays from 6 to 9.
The Fan, Ohio sports destination.
Atlas Butler is built to keep you comfortable, and our plumbing services are no exception. You can rely on Atlas Butler for trusted, convenient plumbing and drain service. Our expert plumbers and drain specialists can take care of anything, from a broken water heater to a clogged drain. Call today, get it fixed today. That's our pledge to you.
Atlas Butler is at your service. Call 1-800-FURNACE.
Ohio, ready for some quick mental health facts? Let's go. Nearly 2 million Ohioans live with a mental health condition. In the U.S., more than 50% of people will be diagnosed with a mental illness in their lifetime. Depression is a leading cause of disability worldwide. So why are some of us still stigmatizing people living with a mental health condition when we know all of this? Let's listen to the facts and beat the stigma. Ohio, challenge what you know about mental health at beatthestigma.org.
Hi, I'm Joanna Williams, General Manager at Tansky Sawmill Toyota, and this month 0% financing is back by popular demand on the 2024 Toyota Tundra for 48 months. But hurry in before they're gone. Visit TanskySawmillToyota.com for details. And when you think Toyota, think Tansky with approved credit, tax title, and $250 doc fee not included. Offer ends August 30th.
Think Toyota. Think Tansky. Think Tansky.
Ah, the sounds of back to school time. There's plenty to about this time of year, so let Cane's take something off your plate by putting something on it, like hand-battered chicken fingers and cane sauce.
Raising Cane's chicken fingers, one love.
Are your feet stopping you from being active and making it difficult to get healthier? Trade in your bad feet and start the new year with good feet and get healthy in 2024. Wouldn't it be nice to work, walk, and play pain-free again?
The Fan is your home for the Dallas Cowboys.
No, we're not. You can't say that. Take two.
The Fan is your home of the Buckeyes. Yes, that's right. Same thing, but more playoff success. Now give Big Voice Guy another brandy. Thank you. The Fan.
I need a small order of sheet metal to repair something in the shop. It's not much, but can you help me out?
At Metal Supermarkets, no order is too small.
Wait, really?
Yep.
What about small home projects?
Yep.
For a car I'm working on?
Yep.
Any kind of metal?
Yep.
Cut to size?
Yep.
With no minimum order?
Yep.
How about 1,000 cut pieces of aluminum flat bar?
Yep. Choose from over 8,000 types, shapes, and grades of metal in any quantity you need. And yes, we're serious. Any metal, any size, ready fast. Locally owned on Wilson Road.
Your bathroom is boring and basic too. It seems like there's nothing you can do. A better bath awaits. You'll feel brand new, relaxing in a world of peace at the Bath Authority.
Schedule your free in-home estimate today and get $1,500 off a new shower or bath, plus 36 months of interest-free financing. Restrictions apply.
You're our priority at the Bath Authority.
When your job demands more than just hard work, trust Timberland Pro, the brand that defines superior comfort, performance, and durability. Built on a legacy of craftsmanship, Timberland Pro provides boots and apparel that stand up to the toughest challenges. Our products are as resilient as the skilled men and women who wear them. From the workshop to the job site, Timberland Pro is there with you every step of the way, blending innovation with time-tested quality. Discover why professionals choose Timberland Pro. Always do, never done. Visit timberlandpro.com or your local Timberland Pro dealer.
This year, Dell Technologies' Back to School event is delivering impressive tech with an inspiring purpose. Learn how Dell is helping Computer Aid, whose work is helping solar community hubs with tech and AI literacy skills to empower remote, displaced, or disconnected communities around the world. Help Dell make a difference and shop AI-ready PCs powered by Snapdragon X Series processors at Dell.com/deals. That's Dell.com/deals.
Want to know anything about the Fans contest, how to win, or what's up for grabs? Check out 971thefan.com. The Fan, Ohio's sports destination.
Dog friendly. And if you ain't down with that, this is Rothman and Ice.
Welcome back in. Matty Ice got Ryan Baker in the house for AR today. Thanks to Jared Dubin for coming on from CBS Sports. If you missed him or if you ever miss anything from our show, wherever you get your podcast, type in Rothman and Ice. Everything we do will be waiting there for you. Don't forget, go ahead and subscribe to the old Rothman and Ice podcast as well. The hype train for Jeremiah Smith or JJ Smith, I guess I've heard it both ways. We got to get what he wants because I absolutely want to respect that. I've been hearing JJ recently, Jeremiah, that's been thrown around all season, but regardless of that, we know who this dude is at this point because he's been making a lot of noise and there's a lot of buzz around his name. And you just got to wonder, right, for a young guy, freshman coming in at a prestigious program like Ohio State and with the expectations of not only him, but this year's team where a lot of people think that they can be or maybe even should be the last team standing. And he's going to be what seems to be a big piece of that. How is he going to handle all of that noise and all of that pressure? Well, he can answer that question for us right now.
I mean, I know it's big expectations for me because, number one player in the country coming in and all the hype around me. So, I mean, I just try to block out all that stuff and just focus on the main thing, just the team and our receiver room and the locker room. And, just first game come, if I don't, see the expectations that y'all have for me, I mean, I don't really care. I just want to go out there and win a game.
That's great to hear. That's great to hear because maybe it does take a little bit of time. And for all the talking heads like us and all these different outlets, Twitter and all the different websites that are out there, they're going to be glued in on what he does in game number one. And if he doesn't play well, it's not the end of the world. The dude's going to have monster games here at Ohio State. It may happen right out of the gate. It may take a little bit of time. You never know. But haven't heard one bad thing about this guy as far as the way that he gets after it, the respect that he has for the game, his teammates, but more importantly, just how good of a player he is already.
The thing you've heard from all of his teammates and his coaches all year is pro. Yeah. He's a pro. And you hear it there in those answers as well. Everybody talks about his maturity and how this isn't too much for him to handle mentally, let alone physically. We know physically he's going to be fine, but mentally is the thing, and everybody seems to. It's almost like you heard about Marv when he came in. Like, this dude's a pro. This dude is ready. And Marv, unfortunately, had 3 number 1 draft picks in front of him in that receiver room when he came in as a freshman with Olave and Wilson and Jackson Smith and Jigba. So we didn't see Marv that much his freshman year. J.J. Smith, we're going to see him this year, and we're going to see him right away from the rip. I mean, it seems like he is, if he's not the number 2 receiver, he's definitely the number 3 in this group of receivers on this team, and it doesn't seem like, I mean, he's the first freshman to be named an Iron Buckeye for a reason, and that's because he's taking care of things off the field as well as on.
I'm glad you brought that up, because here's his position coach, Brian Hartline, talking about that honor that he received.
Yeah, I would say every guy that comes in, they're all different and they're all on their own path. Some got to grow here, while others got to grow there, and the end goal isn't to start at Ohio State. That's just one of the goals along the journey. So, once you start, then you got to be productive, and then once you're productive and you have a name, you got to justify that name, and then then you become a first-round pick, and you got to show your worth to being a first-round pick. So the main goal is where we're at. He has a lot of tools. He works extremely hard. And I will say this, I would say that we've never had an Iron Buckeye from Coach Mick as a freshman. I don't know about ever, or I know definitely since I've been here. So a lot of credit to him, where as far as Jeremiah goes, he, embodied everything that is a part of that conversation, right? It's not just lifting numbers, speed numbers. It is the way you carry yourself, the way you train, the way you, the edge to you. It's all of that. And so he's the first one that's ever earned that, and, I'll kind of leave it at that.
It's high praise, right? And you look at what Caleb Downs was able to do last year in the SEC as a freshman. I won't be surprised if on the opposite side of the ball that Jeremiah Smith has that type of impact, right? Like, I think it's in play for him to be the leading receiver in a few games this year. I think Emeka is going to have an absolute monster year, but when you have the traits that he has, the size, speed, and the seasoning that I'm sure he's gotten from his cousin and Geno Smith to hit him with some of those secrets about going about things and what you can do as a wide receiver to help out your quarterback, all that stuff is going to come into focus. You mentioned Garrett Wilson, and I was looking at what he did his freshman year, and we know Garrett has turned into an absolute star, and we saw that here, and now in the NFL, he's going to be that for years to come. But you're talking out of the gate for Garrett Wilson in his freshman year, 432 yards and 5 touchdowns. I'm willing to take the over this year for Jeremiah Smith when it comes to maybe even both those categories.
You may not be wrong on that, but with the numbers of the wide receivers this year, I don't know if they're going to be what we've seen, because there's going to be such a focus, I believe, on the run game.
That's fair.
With Travion and with Quinshawn and with Will Howard, we think as the starting quarterback. And Chip Kelly, we know he's always ran the football to open up the passing game. I don't know if we're going to see Will Howard slinging it 35 times a game like we've seen some quarterbacks in the recent past here. Now, with that, I still think your top 2, maybe your top 3 receivers, they're still going to eat this year. But you're just not going to have the depth of receivers and multiple guys getting the ball like we did in the past. And I could be wrong. But again, we think Jeremiah Smith's just going to come in here and put up 1,000 yards and 12 touchdowns right away because he's that good, and he is that good. He's that talented. I just don't know if this offense is going to be that way.
That's a good point. That's a good point. And Chip Kelly, his offenses at UCLA they led the Pac-12 in rushing the last 2 years, had a great history of running the rock at Oregon as well. And look, Carnell Tate, there's been some good things said about him this offseason. Brandon Ennis, both those guys have been around for a while. I think the top 4, what's perceived to be the top 4 in that wide receiver room, the quarterbacks are in good hands, and when their number is called, I will not be surprised at all when those guys are making plays. Let me tell you about my friends over at the Columbus Men's Clinic, because the Columbus Men's Clinic is the largest and most experienced men's health practice in Columbus. Did you know that their patients averaged 3 failures with other places before coming to the Columbus Men's Clinic. A lot of guys I know tried other things or maybe went to the clinic years ago, but they have an actual doctor treating patients, not some fly-by-night franchise that loves to come into town. Seriously, go see the team that for 10 years has been number one in Ohio for men's health. Stop thinking about it and get in there. Call 614-300-7400. That's 614-300-7400. Or go online to columbusmensclinic.com to book an appointment today. That's columbusmensclinic.com. Coming up, after an update, ESPN college football analyst Greg McElroy. He shared what he's been hearing about some Big Ten teams as camps have been off and running. You'll hear some of that next. It's Rothman and Ice right here on The Fan.
The only radio station still operating with an active booze cart. I'm drunk right now. No, I'm not. Yes, I am. The Fan, Ohio sports destination.
Everyone has that one goal, that thing they want to prove, not to other people, but to themselves. Then, right when you think you could actually do it, cancer. And that goal is still within reach. Oh no, I'm about to run my first ever marathon with my two best friends. 3 years after having cancer.
At least we look good in these shorts.
Woo! Let's get it, guys. You, keep making plans.
Visit ohiohealth.com/keep making plans to learn more.
Hey, it's Bobby Carpenter. Have you ever heard someone say that they just don't make or do things like they used to? While that may be true for many things, there is one company who strives to deliver the customer experience and quality product that we all reminisce about. And that company, well, it's Newman Roofing. You can read it time and time again in their reviews, how much they truly care about their customers and the roofs that they install. And I should know, they installed a roof for me and my family, and it was tremendous. Their sales team was fantastic, and the quality was phenomenal. They strive to leave the home as they found it. And some customers say they even leave it cleaner than it was before. And I can second that. Not only do they install a quality product that is going to protect your home and family for years to come, but they also walk away leaving you feeling confident that you hired the right company. Whether you need a roof repair or replaced, call the company that families have been trusting for 32 years. And that company is Newman Roofing. 614-NEW-ROOF or newmanroofing.com.
It's the summer sell-down at Performance Chrysler Jeep Dodge Ram. Get 0% for 36 months on select Wranglers, Gladiators, and Grand Cherokees with no payments for 90 days. One Performance, 2 locations, Georgesville and Delaware.
With approved credit from Stellantis Financial Services on select 24 in-stock inventory. Cannot combine offers. Ends 8/30/24.
When there's a United Dairy Farmers nearby, fan favorites are too. Score a set of 6 Cincinnati Reds player cups for $19.99. Ellie, Green, India, Steer, Diaz, and McLean cups only at UDF while supplies last.
Texting enrolls you into recurring automated text messages. Consent not required to purchase. Message and data rates may apply.
Hey, Dan, how you doing? Haven't seen you around the gym for a while.
Yeah, I've really fallen off. Since I turned 40, I just don't get the results I used to get.
Could be lower testosterone.
Lower T?
Yeah, I went through it a while back. Once you hit 40, your body has less free testosterone. I got Nugenix Total T, and it's made a huge difference for me.
I've seen that ad on TV. Is it for real?
Oh, yeah. The key ingredient is something called Tesnor, which helps boost free and total testosterone levels to help you trim up and stay lean.
And it's made a difference for you?
Man, I feel like I'm in my 20s again, at work, in the gym, and in the bedroom.
Are they still giving out complimentary bottles for people to try it for themselves?
Yeah, you just need to send them a text.
Text EQUAL to 321-321 right now for your complimentary bottle of Nugenix Total T, the #1 selling testosterone booster at GNC. Plus, text now and we'll include a bottle of Nugenix Thermo, our most powerful fat incinerator ever, to help you get back into shape fast, absolutely free. Text EQUAL to 321-321. That's EQUAL to 321-321.
Broadcasting from the Lindsay Honda Studios.
Honda makes the cars. Lindsay makes the difference. Visit lindsayhonda.com.
WBNS-FM, HD1 Columbus. The Fan. Sports Center.
Good afternoon. I'm Ryan Baker. Tough news for the Cleveland Browns as their rookie defensive tackle and former Buckeye Mike Hall has been arrested following a domestic dispute yesterday. Hall was the Browns' pick in the second round, the 54th pick overall in this year's draft. The Guardians and the Reds both victorious yesterday, and they continue home series tonight at 6:40. Matthew Boyd makes his Cleveland debut opposite the Cubs' Javier Assad at Progressive Field. Boyd hasn't pitched in a major league game since June 26th of last year after undergoing Tommy John surgery at Great American Ballpark. Since he takes on the Cardinals, Hunter Green versus Eric Fetty, the pitching matchup in that one. And the Columbus Crew at lower.com tonight for a Leagues Cup round of 16 matchup against Inter Miami. This one's sponsored by Dr. Mark Levy. If you're snoring and not sleeping, give him a call at 1-800-MORE-SLEEP, or you can visit online, sleepbettercolumbus.com.
No one funks up the work microwave like these two. Fish again? You're listening to Rothman and Ice.
Welcome back in. Happy Tuesday. Matty Ice, Ryan Baker, CB got you covered today. Bake Show in the house, filling in for AR. AR's up in Chi-Town. He tweeted us a picture. He was outside of Michael Jordan's old mansion. Hopefully he didn't get tased or sniped by security. Hopefully he made it out of there okay. But
regular visitor there. He's good.
You know what? He's probably, been in the crib multiple times before. AR runs Chicago, man. So hopefully our guys enjoying his time off. Yeah, you mentioned the real quick, just before we get back to some college football talk, the Mike Hall news is just super unfortunate, right? Like, we're just waiting for, I guess, more details to come out about this, but...
Well, some of them are, and it doesn't look good.
Okay, yeah, that's what I've heard. So, yeah, we'll just, we'll keep you up to date on all of that, but just for a guy that it seemed was at least on the right track football-wise, right, this all season...
Heard a lot of good things coming out of Browns camp.
I mean, Zadarius Smith, kind of comped him to Aaron Donald with some of the things he's seen and the role that he potentially was going to have playing, next to arguably the best defensive lineman in the sport in Myles Garrett. So, yeah, just tough news coming out of Cleveland today. So, yeah, if you're a Browns fan, make sure you keep an eye on that. But, yeah, the former Buckeye stepping in it.
We saw it here. When he was healthy, he was dominant.
Yeah.
For an undersized defensive lineman, he was a dominant player, freakishly strong.
Yeah, man. And you zoom out from Mike and what's going on with him off the field. You've had the Dalvin Tomlinson injury this offseason. Zadarius Smith had a scare this offseason. So that defensive line, they've been taking some unfortunate blows right now. So we shall see what comes of that. And I'm sure we'll talk to Shefty about this tomorrow. And hopefully there'll be an update there and some clarity as to what's going to happen with that defensive line group moving forward. I mean, we're 11 days away from week 0 kicking off.
Wow.
11 days away. Next Saturday, we will start the season in the college football realm, which we all love. I know for some people, week 0's kind of and I get that, right? I get it because the schedule's not as sexy, but if you're a football lover, you're a football lover. And you're at least going to sit there and watch a little bit of this. And then when we turn the page to next week, the week after that, we're talking Buckeyes in Akron, and it's game week. And then the following week, it's NFL. So, yeah, man, we're in the thick of it, and I'm here for it, man. I feel like a kid waking up on Christmas Day. I'm excited.
And, look, the matchups may not be great in week 0, but you're still getting some what should be quality teams this year. Florida State, they're ranked 10th.
Yeah.
In the preseason polls. SMU, a lot of people, Bo Bishop's Ponies, a lot of people like them think they're going to be dangerous in that ACC. So maybe not the crazy, really good matchups, but still a couple good teams.
I still don't have a great handle on everything that's happening in the ACC. What we're doing SMU, we're doing Stanford. They're now over there. Like the map is crazy, man. The
Stanford to Miami.
Yeah, and it's like we're down to the Power 4.
It's the same as the Big Ten, though. Like USC and UCLA and Oregon and Washington just doesn't seem right.
That's real. It doesn't. And when the Big Ten, they put out their new commercial with all the they're literally going coast to coast, but they won't admit it. But it's the money. You're never going to ignore the money, and you're smart. Look, the Big Ten's smart for them to get a piece of that LA market and the eyeballs that are out there. I completely understand it, but it seems like this year, a lot of the great football is going to be played both in the Big Ten and the SEC. And Ohio State is expected to be a part of that greatness. And you got a guy now in Will Howard that's coming in, came from Kansas State, played a ton of football, right? And it seems like right now he may be the guy. We don't know. Coach Day, he'll talk to the media, I believe, in the coming days and then obviously in the coming weeks, and we will get clarity on that. And I hope we go into week 1 with a guy named. That way we can hit the ground running with Akron, and that stuff can just be as smooth as possible. But Greg McElroy, really good ESPN college football analyst, he's got people on the streets. He knows some people around the country, and he's gathered some information about some things that are happening behind the scenes at some of these practices and scrimmages that we may not be able to see. And here's Greg on what he's hearing about Will Howard.
You can tell he's starting to get a little more comfortable. He also is kind of kind of demonstrated that he can move, he can run, and has been able to avoid the rush. But it's looking like if they wanted to today, they could name Will Howard the starting quarterback. He's already getting endorsements from wide receivers. He's already getting an endorsement from Chip Kelly, from Ryan Day. They're not all saying, well, he needs to be the starter or anything like that. But when you start having defensive backs, all-American defensive backs coming out and putting their name in quotation saying, hey, this guy's playing his tail off, things are going pretty good.
A lot of respect right there that, Greg's talking about that he's hearing from other guys. And you played it earlier in your update from Denzel Burke, to where you have one of the leaders of the defense talking about, I'm starting to see the vision when it comes to Will Howard.
It's for sure. The funny thing about in that quote from Greg McElroy to me, Greg, we knew he could run. He could always run. He didn't have to show us that. He needed to show us the pocket presence and that he could command this team and that he can make the throw on third down or in the fourth quarter when the game's on the line. And we're not going to see that till we're in a game, to be quite honest, unfortunately. But those are the things he needed to show us. Can he be the guy that doesn't lose you a national championship? Like, we all knew he could run. We all saw that at Kansas State the past couple of years.
I'm just very curious, too, with what you said about the aerial attack. A lot of the conversation has been about what the guy can do with his legs. But when you have the weapons that Ohio State has at their disposal, snap in and snap out on the outside, those guys got to eat too. And I'm sure they will. But how consistent will it be? How much of a threat will that be week in and week out, where defenses can't come down and stack the box? Now, I think some of those defenses would be foolish to leave, the Emekas and Cardales and Jeremiah Smiths in one-on-one situations, because those guys, I think, will cook you more times than not. But I think you bring up a good point, because maybe it's that Iowa game. Maybe it's the Oregon game after that, where he's going to have to show that, hey, if for whatever reason our offensive line isn't getting it done and we can't just throw dudes out of the club with the run game, I got us. I can't wait for that moment. It's not going to happen, I don't think, for a few weeks. I don't think Michigan State, even a Big Ten opponent, will offer that much resistance with their switch at head coach and Jeremiah Smith and Jonathan Smith, and how that could take some time. But I do think the setup of the schedule works out pretty well for them before they have to go out to Eugene, because we know Iowa's going to come in here with a salty defense.
1,000%. And I'll be honest, I hope we don't see a ton of Will Howard the first 3 weeks. Honestly, maybe even the first 4. Let's give him the first half. Let's blow some teams' doors off, and let's get him out, and let's see Devin. Let's see Julian. Yeah. Let's see Lincoln. Give them all some time, because what happened last year on December 29th, when you got a quarterback that's not ready at all because the guy got injured, we can't have that again. So let's get all these guys in there. When you hear everybody, we've heard a lot of people the past couple weeks from Ohio State fall camp. We've heard Ryan Day, we've heard Chip Kelly, we've heard players, we've heard guys that have been out there covering practices. Mm-hmm. They all say it looks different for Will from the spring until now. The ball's coming out with more zip. He knows the offense better. There's still questions about the deep ball. Everybody says Devin Brown throws the better deep ball, and Julian Sayin has the stronger arm. There's question about Will pushing the ball down the field a little bit, and we're going to have to see that in game, obviously. But what I want to see is I just want to see a quarterback, and it sounds like we're getting that's confident, that knows the offense, knows where the ball's supposed to be. He sees it, and he rips it. Because I feel that's the thing we really lacked last year. It seemed like the ball was late last year a lot, whether it wasn't seen or there wasn't confidence in it. And that's what I want to see, is just a confident quarterback, knows where the ball's going and gets it there.
I agree, man, because it felt like, the passing attack last year, there's a lot of meat left on the bone, right? And Marvin still went on to have a really good year, but when you look around at some of those like what-if plays, right, where the receiver's running downfield and he's got to slow down and maybe a defender gets a hand on it or whatever it may be, you lost some of those big-time plays, some of those splash plays, and hopefully, Will can come in and take care of that. One Big Ten program that's got questions at the most important position is Michigan, and here's Greg McElroy's take on what's been going on with them here recently.
I don't know right now about whether or not Alex Orji is going to be capable of beating you through the air. I don't know that. Now, I'll change my tune week 2 against Texas if he goes out and starts lighting them up on incredible throws. If he does that, then sure, we will adjust Michigan where they need to be adjusted to. But as of this moment, today, Michigan has major question marks at the biggest position, which is why I think they need to be in the top 12, not the top 4.
You're talking Alex Orji, a guy that I guess is the presumed starter. Like, haven't heard much about Jack Tuttle this offseason. It's been a name we've heard, for years here in the Big Ten. But their style of play has never been relying on the quarterback carving you up through the air. That's never been how they get down. But Alex Orji, we're talking one thrown pass over 2 years at the collegiate level. And so Donovan Edwards, he's always been kind of a flashy runner to me. I don't know how consistent he really is. A couple years ago, he was good. Last year, had a good end to the year in the national championship game. But his game has never been consistent. But they lost a lot. You're talking 4 to 5 starters on their offensive line. And we know the Roman Wilsons of the world, Blake Corum, those guys are now in the NFL. So just defensively, they're going to be a stout unit. That's just what they do. And I don't think that's going to change. But I do think that, maybe their ceiling has been lowered just a little bit offensively, even though I think Orji's a guy you got to worry about on the ground because he can cook you there too.
So I am one that is still a believer in Michigan this year as a team that's going to make the new 12-team playoff because I think their defense is that good. I think Edwards is that good. And Orji, him and Edwards both running the football back there, I think is pretty dynamic. I don't think they're going to have the full effect of losing Harbaugh until maybe next year. I don't think they're really going to feel that this year that much. I'd be interested to go back and see where Greg McElroy had Ohio State last year before the season, because the same thing could have been said about the Buckeyes last year. Now, this Michigan roster, I don't think was on par with what Ohio State had last year, at least. But I'd just be interested to see what he said, because Ohio State was in that same boat last year. Quarterbacks that had never really attempted much. We know Kyle had the one start as a freshman, but that's all we had really seen of him, and we didn't know about Devin Brown. I'd love to go back and compare the two takes.
I would too, because I can't imagine he would have been that high on, the offensive ceiling without knowing, to your point, what either guy was. I mean, I think a lot of us were in that boat. I think you looked around and you said you got Travion and Marvin and Emeka, and you feel good about that. But as far as the offensive ceiling for Ohio State last year, no doubt at this point on the calendar a year ago, I think we were all questioning. We had no idea what it was really going to look like.
But I don't think he was last year questioning Ohio State as a top 5 team in the country.
Don't know. Yeah, who knows? But Michigan for sure has a chance to make a couple statements early on in the season with that Texas game that he talked about, and then USC a couple weeks after that. So the Big Ten is going to be a very fascinating league now, right? We're going to the divisionless stuff. The 2 top teams will play for the conference championship. And as we talked about off the top, you just got the geographical change, right? Just on the map, and how are teams going to handle the travel, especially those West Coast teams, right? Where you're talking USC and UCLA and Oregon coming over from the West Coast to the East Coast and the Midwest. How do they deal with that? How does that affect their bodies? And when do they change their travel? Like, it's just so much newness going on. But yeah, I'm excited about this year. I know you and I, we don't love the expanded playoff with the opportunity for maybe a 3-loss team to play for it all. But if you are a 3-loss team, you're going to have to really grind this thing out to get all the way to a national championship, because those top 4 conference champs are going to get, that bye and the ability to rest. But yeah, just it's exciting times, because I think we all like newness, right? Some people hate change. I'm one of those people. I don't really love change all the time, but I do think because of Bake, how much the lack of juice was around bowl season, this now will change a little bit of that with some of these New Year's 6 games that have more life to them because of the playoff.
I totally agree. Like the teams, there's more, hey, we're not totally out of this, and I hate that. Like I just can't stand seeing a 3-loss team at some point getting this college football playoff, and we know it's going to happen at some point. I just don't feel like it's deserving, but that does breathe new life and energy into all of these teams.
And I don't think we're going to see that many upsets anyway, so I don't think we'll have to worry about it too much. Coming up, a quarterback that was drafted in the first round of this year's draft is dealing with what seems to be a serious knee injury. We'll tell you who that is next. It's Rothman and Ice right here on The Fan.
Question from a listener: do you dopes ever get tired of talking about Ohio State? No. The Buckeye Show.
Weeknights at 6.
The Fan.
Ah, the sounds of back to school time. There's plenty to about this time of year, so let Cane's take something off your plate by putting something on it, like hand-battered chicken fingers and cane sauce.
Raising Cane's chicken fingers, one love.
Direct auto insurance is for uncompromisers.
Like Matt. When his old car insurance got so expensive, do you think he walked until his sneakers wore out? No, because he found savings with Direct Auto so he could drive instead of compromise. With savings of up to 25% on state minimum coverage, you too can stop compromising and keep driving. Get a free quote at directauto.com or a store near you. Savings vary, terms apply. National General Group, Winston-Salem.
Tired of rising food prices? Start saving with deals for days at Giant Eagle and Market District. Enjoy low prices on more than 1,000 of your go-to grocery items store-wide. Dive into deals for a limited time at your local Giant Eagle and Market District.
Hi, I'm Joanna Williams, General Manager at Tansky Sawmill Toyota, and this month 0% financing is backed by popular demand on the 2024 Toyota Tundra for 48 months. But hurry in before they're gone. Visit TanskySawmillToyota.com for details. And when you think Toyota, think Tansky with approved credit, tax title, and $250 doc fee not included. Offer ends August 30th.
Think Toyota. Think Tansky. Think Tansky.
Hey, it's Bobby. When it comes to tackling a project as important as your roof, you want a company that cares about the product and experience they're going to deliver. At Newman Roofing, you're more than just a number. They believe in 100% customer satisfaction. And for your roofing needs, give them a call at 614-NEW-ROOF or newmanroofing.com.
Most businesses have one tagline.
Not here, baby.
At Sunny Street Cafe, we've got 7.
That's what I'm talking about.
Like number 3.
Sunny Street Cafe. Classic breakfast and lunch. Comfort food. But like if Grandma went to culinary school?
With 8 locations.
Common Man and T-Bone are known for many things. And while great radio ain't one of them, shoving food down their gullets is their specialty. Join Man and Bone for Fat Boy Food Tip.
Live at 3 or on the podcast.
Your home for fat. The Fan.
Check out the all-new John Hinderer Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram facility in Heath and experience the difference. We're your exclusive AgPack dealer, offering up to $30,000 in savings and benefits. And if you're tired of waiting at the dealership for service, take advantage of our service made simple with Carvenience or mobile service. Home of a lifetime powertrain guarantee and one of the largest selections in Central Ohio. John Hinderer Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram, Route 79 in Heath, or HindererCDJR.com. We love what moves you.
Experience a piece of history this September and pay tribute to those that have served in the Vietnam War. Delaware County Veterans Services invites you to visit the Wall That Heals from September 12th through the 15th at Havener Park in Liberty Township. Witness the official 3/4 scale replica of the Vietnam Memorial in Washington, D.C. The Wall That Heals is free and open to the public 24 hours a day until 2 p.m. on the 15th. For volunteering opportunities and to learn more, please visit thewallthathealsohio.com.
Healthcare.gov is here for you when life happens. If you lost your health coverage because of turning 26, going off Medicaid, leaving your job, or moving, you could be eligible to enroll in new coverage now. And if you need to update your coverage because of marriage or having a baby, you could also be eligible. But don't wait. There's a limited time to enroll. Check your eligibility at healthcare.gov today. Life happens. Get covered. Paid for by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services.
Hello, it's John Kozik, founder and president of TurboTrack Realty, and I buy real estate as is fast for cash. Give us a call today for an all-cash offer at 614-470-2000, 614-470-2000. I buy vacant properties, inherited homes, divorce situations, death in the family. I even buy my tenants won't pay me the rent houses. Give us a call today for an all-cash offer at 614-470-2000, 614-470-2000.
Fan weather.
From the Logan AC and Heat Services Weather Center.
Look for mostly sunny sky with a high of 84. Dry overnight tonight with a low of 87. Heading into your Wednesday, it's looking like a dry and sunny day, but feeling more like summertime tomorrow with a high of 87. I'm meteorologist Dylan Robichaud with your 10 TV weather impact forecast on 97.1 The Fan.
Bet365 is the exclusive online sportsbook of Rothman and Ice. Whatever the sport, whatever the moment, it's never ordinary at Bet365.
This is Rothman and Ice, the #1 rated midday show in Columbus.
Sponsored by Pella Columbus, the #1 rated windows and doors in Columbus.
Welcome back in, ladies and gentlemen. Matty Ice, Ryan Baker in the house. Fill it in for AR. Hope you guys are having a nice Tuesday afternoon. Bottom of the hour, we'll start working our way around the Big Ten. start to get a feel of how some of these teams are rounding into form with camps off and running. John Steppe, who covers Iowa for the Cedar Rapids Gazette, will hop on in our next segment. Iowa, I believe, came in ranked 25th in the latest AP poll, so nice amount of respect for them. So you're talking about potentially, if things hold the way that they are right now, Ohio State has a chance to rack up, 2 back-to-back weeks against ranked opponents and hopefully rack up some good dubs there with Iowa and Oregon the week after that. So we'll talk to John Steppe next about everything going on with Kirk Ferentz's squad. Some very unfortunate news came out of Minnesota today, if you're a Vikings fan, because Adam Schefter and Kevin Seifert for ESPN, who covers the Vikings, are reporting that Minnesota Vikings rookie quarterback J.J. McCarthy will undergo surgery to repair a torn meniscus in his right knee. Vikings coach Kevin O'Connell, he confirmed Tuesday that McCarthy needs surgery, but said the team does not have a timeline for how long he will be sidelined. A decision will be made at the time of the operation whether McCarthy's meniscus requires a trimming or a complete repair, which will determine the length of his recovery. So that's the scariest part of this game, man, is that you can be a quarterback, you can be a defensive lineman. Who was the kicker from back in the day that was celebrating, tore his hammy or whatever? It doesn't matter who you are. Those football dementors, man, are going to come after you at some point in time. You just got to hope. In some cases, it's minor, but in this case, this may be a decent amount of time that J.J. McCarthy, he's got to miss now.
I think the scariest part of this, especially if you're AR and a Vikings fan, is Sam Darnold and Jaron Hall all year now. Yeah. That's the scariest part. But this story has just kind of developed quickly. When we were getting ready for the show this morning, it was knee soreness. He might be sat down for a while. Then as we were starting the show, starting to get reports of possible surgery. And then we had Jared Dubin on, and he told us that it was going to be some kind of meniscus surgery for sure. And he said this is something that he's had before. And if they remove the meniscus, he said it could be 6 weeks, 4 to 6 weeks. If they try to repair it, he's going to be out all year. So not the way, not what the Vikings were planning for when they traded up to take JJ.
It's tough. And I was looking forward to hearing, or seeing what he would look like in some of these joint practices this week, because they're linking up, with your Brownies, right?
Yep.
And joint practice to see how he would handle, Myles Garrett getting after him. And I don't know exactly what the reps would look like and all of those things, but it seemed like after, and it's just preseason game number 1, that JJ and Sam, this was a pretty decent quarterback competition. I'm always a guy that I like to follow the money in certain situations, and they handed Sam Darnold $10 million for this year. That's a nice little ticket for a backup quarterback after you draft a first-round quarterback out of Michigan and J.J. McCarthy. But now you mentioned the guys that are in the mix with Sam Darnold and Jaron Hall. I think, though, based off of what I saw last year from Kevin O'Connell, with how good he is as a play caller, he as a head coach, I think, will provide a decent floor. And when you combine that with Justin Jefferson and Addison, and we'll see what T.J. Hawkinson looks like when he gets off and running, because he's been dealing with an injury as well, this definitely lowers their ceiling, at least out of the gate, and to your point, maybe even longer than that if he misses time. And so the Minnesota Vikings are looking at a situation now where out of the gate, your schedule's pretty tough, especially when you talk about some of the defenses that you're going to see, specifically the defensive lines you're going to see. I mean, it's at the Giants in week 1, and that's Dexter Lawrence and Brian Burns. And in weeks 2, it's, Nick Bosa with the San Francisco 49ers, and the Jets are in that mix as well. So they're up against it. That division is going to be interesting. I still think it's going to be very interesting at the top with Detroit and Green Bay. But now Minnesota seems like is going to be, playing catch up here with what they can do in the division, unless Sam Darnold completely shocks us all.
Who would have thought this week we wouldn't have Mike Hall chasing down J.J. McCarthy again, but that's not going to happen at all in these practices. I'm glad you mentioned Kevin McConnell, because I was so interested to see what he did with this Vikings offense this year, because I'm a believer in J.J. McCarthy. I think he's going to work. But he's not a guy that can throw the ball 35, 40 times a game to me. And I don't think Sam Darnold's that guy either. That's what he did last year with Kirk Cousins. They aired it out. We know they brought in Aaron Jones this year, but I was so interested to see if Kevin O'Connell was going to change the way he called a game just a little bit, because I don't think he's got the quarterbacks to air it out like he did in the past. And again, we still are going to have to see this because Sam Darnold, it looks like, is the guy now for at least the foreseeable future. So it'll be interesting to see if he changes that at all. But I was so interested to see that with JJ.
Me too. It's kind of like in basketball where you have a guy that doesn't take a whole bunch of three-pointers. Does that mean that he can't shoot them, right? Like if you get him into a whole new system, can he go from behind the line and light up the nets? And for JJ, just because he wasn't asked to do it, does that automatically mean that he can't do it? And the bread and butter of the Vikings is you got the best receiver in the league.
Yeah.
You got Justin Jefferson, who you just paid, $110 million guaranteed, and Jordan Addison and Hawkinson, and these guys aren't slouches either. So what type of adjustment do we see there for sure? Let's hear from your head coach, and Kevin Stefanski. Here he is talking about those joint practices with the Minnesota Vikings coming up this week.
This is really year 4 of us scheduling these practices versus another opponent. We do it in week 2. We've hosted the Eagles. We've gone to the Eagles. We've hosted the Giants. Now hosting the Vikings. It's an important part of training camp. And I made mention of that last night with our players. We're very much in training camp, and this week is going to be hard. It's going to be physical. It's going to tax you mentally, physically, those type of things. It's going to allow us to go up against a different scheme. Really, what they do offensively and defensively are different than what we do. We'll obviously also get work with their special teams. So going up against a different scheme for a couple days where you can get really good, solid work in against a good football team, a well-coached football team, it's very important to getting this team ready for week 1.
So no Mike Hall and no, obviously, J.J. McCarthy, but give me my popcorn so I can sit down and watch Justin Jefferson and Denzel Ward get after it.
That'd be fun.
Like, I can't wait to see what that looks like. Quick little nugget as far as the preseason goes, specifically with Deshaun Watson. We found out this weekend that he was cleared for full practice and contact and all of those things. But now there's more clarity to that because Kevin Stefanski has said that he won't play in this preseason game this week against Minnesota, but he will see time in the finale of the preseason against Seattle, which I think he absolutely needs, right? Coming off the injury, the dude's played 12 games combined as a Cleveland Brown over the last couple of years. He's got to get some work early on. Plus, you got a new piece in Jerry Jeudy, and you still want, the chemistry, I think, to evolve with Elijah Moore and all those things. So I think that's a good thing that Deshaun plays next week in the finale. Hopefully it's like for a quarter, maybe even 2.
Listen, if he's healthy, he should be playing, a little bit this week. He needs, for a guy, he has not played or had a lot of snaps here in a long time. I mean, let's be honest. He has not played a lot of football in the past 4 or 5 years. He needs all the reps he can get right now, I think, especially because I'm not sure if he can do it the way he used to with physically, and he may need to adjust some things. I think he needs as many reps as he can get.
Yeah, I'm not mad at it. Not mad at it at all. Latest coming out of Browns camp right there, and the unfortunate news with the Minnesota Vikings, their first-round quarterback, J.J. McCarthy, looking like he's going to need knee surgery on a meniscus. Coming up next, we'll go to Iowa. We'll talk about the Iowa Hawkeyes with John Steppe, who covers their football squad for the Cedar Rapids Gazette. That's next, Rothman and Ice, right here on The Fan.
Tweet from a listener. Are you carrying the Buckeye game today? Considering we've never not carried one, yes. The answer is yes. The Fan.
Hey, it's Anthony for the Good Feet store. 3 words for me, pain-free summer. Spent probably 30 hours walking around the Memorial Tournament and felt awesome with my personal art supports from the Good Feet store in my everyday kicks. Sure, every now and then we all get random foot pain from pickleball or golf or just being a human being. Having my personally fit art supports in my shoes has made a massive difference. And even right after I put them in, didn't take long to feel much more supported and aligned, and it's so easy to just move them into any pair. Before I had them, I dreaded being on my feet for any length of time. Well, you have nothing to lose but the pain, as they say. It's a free fitting and test walk. Try them for yourself. See the difference it can make. It did for me. And best of all, you can wear them home. 2 locations on Polaris Parkway and Stringtown Road, or schedule an appointment at goodfeet.com. The Good Feet Store, America's arch supports experts.
It's Toyota's national sales event with more all-wheel drive choices than anyone else, including Toyota's lineup of go-anywhere, do-anything trucks, like the powerful new Tundra. Now through September 3rd, you can get a new Tundra with low-rate financing, special leases, or customer cash up to $2,000, depending on model. And the 2024 Tacoma is now arriving at your Toyota dealer with dominating power, legendary capability, and captivating style. Get details at Toyota.com. Toyota, let's go places.
Whether you're a seasoned pro or a new golfer, think beyond the green and head over to X Golf Columbus and X Golf Powell. Come experience the most advanced and accurate golf simulators in the world at X Golf. A fun venue with great food, excellent service, and a full bar. You can play around on one of our 50 courses, take a lesson from our PGA pro, hit the driving range, join a league, or just sit back and sip a beer on the outdoor patio. Book your tee time today at playxgolf.com. X Golf Columbus and X Golf Powell, the home of indoor golf.
Hi, here are some ways to listen to The Fan. You can download the Fan app or listen at home on your smart speaker or open up the iHeartRadio app or hold your head out the window and hear Common Man scream. Happy listening from the Dopes at The Fan.
Hey, it's Anthony here for the Bath Authority. You spend a ton of time in your bathroom, and if you're trying to ignore your old, outdated bath or shower or that mold and mildew along with the broken tiles, you gotta call my friends at the Bath Authority. The Bath Authority provides the highest quality bathroom remodeling products along with a world-class customer experience. And all Bath Authority products are 100% made in the USA, and they can be installed in as little as 1 day by certified factory technicians. TheBathAuthority.com. A better bath awaits.
More and more people are falling into problem gambling. Mary Haven's experts offer comprehensive care. You and your loved ones can count on mental, emotional, and financial guidance.
Confidential and judgment-free. Go to maryhaven.com today.
It's the summer sell-down at Performance Chrysler Jeep Dodge Ram. Get 0% for 36 months on select Wranglers, Gladiators, and Grand Cherokees with no payments for 90 days. One Performance, 2 locations, Georgesville and Delaware.
With approved credit from Stellantis Financial Services on select 24 in-stock inventory. Cannot combine offers. Ends 8/30/24.
Hey, John, why so glum?
I just got let go. The company's downsizing. This is the 3rd time in the last 2 years. I'm done with this.
Have you thought about My Computer Career? I've heard they can train you for a career in IT in just a few months, including cybersecurity and the basics of AI. And you don't need prior training or experience. Now that's a recession-resistant career.
Wow, thanks. I'll check them out.
Go to mycomputercareer.edu and take the free career evaluation. mycomputercareer.edu. Financial aid is available for qualified students, including the GI Bill.
Life insurance. Why are you putting it off? Can't afford it? Too much hassle? Think you don't need it? There's lots of excuses for putting off life insurance. But if you weren't there, who would pay the mortgage and other bills? With Ethos, you could be covered in 10 minutes and boom, family protected. Ethos, fast and easy online term life insurance. Up to $2 million in coverage with no medical exam. Some policies as low as $1 a day. Answer a few health questions and get your free quote at getethos.com. That's getethos.com.
Rothman and Ice is sponsored by your local Pella Window and Door showroom on Gemini Parkway. The Fan, Ohio sports destination.
Hitting a hole in one into your ear hole. Ew. This is Rothman and Ice.
That it is. Welcome back in. Matty Ice, Ryan Baker in the house today for AR. Going to light up the Bryant Heating and Cooling Systems fan guest hotline right now and bring on John Steppe, who covers the Iowa Hawkeyes for the Cedar Rapids Gazette. John, happy football season. How are you, man?
I'm great. How are you guys?
Doing well. Doing very well. Let's get into this Iowa football squad because they came in yesterday, 25th in the AP poll. We know what their style of play has been, but I want to start with the offense and what you understand about a new offensive coordinator coming in and what he's been able to do so far this offseason. What do we need to know about the new guy on offense and the guy that's going to be calling plays?
Yeah, they bring in Tim Lester, obviously, to replace Brian Ferentz after his dismissal. And it's really a Shanahan-style offense that the Hawkeyes are running, a little bit similar to what the Packers have been running at the NFL level. Lester was an analyst last year for the Packers, so took some stuff from there. The staff even visited Green Bay. So that's what you're seeing schematically. We haven't gotten a huge glimpse of it. We get one open practice in the spring, one in the fall. We had that back on Saturday. one hallmark is you're going to see a lot more motion from this Iowa offense than what people saw when Brian Ferentz was coordinator. It seemed like a near constant that there'd be pre-snap, during snap motion, and really using that to accomplish some different things. Definitely some more creativity in general with the play calling. There were a bunch of plays on Saturday where I was thinking, haven't seen this in past years. So in terms of giving the defenses a little bit of different looks, I think that's going to be one of the big things that this scheme accomplishes, where it seemed like in past years there are times where all 70,000 people in the stands seemed to kind of know what was coming. And I think you're going to see a little more unpredictability in terms of play calling there. But, of course, the thing that Kirk Ferentz has talked about, the thing that others on staff have talked about is, schematics only go so far, and it's really going to come down to execution for this offense that has obviously struggled mightily in recent years.
Talking about the new offensive coordinator, Tim Lester, does he have a quarterback that can take care of business for him? We know Cade McNamara's back, but it seems like he's been struggling in fall camp from everything you hear or see. Brendan Sullivan has come in from Northwestern. He's been a little better, but not much. Do they have an issue at quarterback right now?
I think if you would have asked people around Iowa that same question 3 weeks ago, they seem to feel pretty good about Cade as QB1. Now, as you alluded to, it's much more of a question. He did not have a good showing at all in Saturday's open practice. And it wasn't like these are incredibly ambitious throws either. These were a lot of short to medium length passes and some considerable issues there with accuracy. And he had one pick that, if it wasn't blown dead, would have been returned for a touchdown. There's another time where it's like, oh man, he got away with one there. So accuracy was an issue for him. But the other thing too is it's still early in fall camp. He hasn't really played all that much because of his injuries the last 2 seasons. So the question is, how much of that is rust, and how much of that rust can get knocked off in these next 3 weeks or so, more like 2.5 weeks now. So that's kind of the big question there at quarterback. And I really see this as much more of a competition between McNamara and Sullivan than anyone, I think, really expected 3 or 4 weeks ago. And I think it's very possible that Sullivan could get that starting nod. Right now, I would still, if you had to pick one as the more likely scenario, I'd still say McNamara is the most likely person to be starting week 1 against Illinois State. But I would not rule out Brendan Sullivan. He, as you said, looked a little better, but not necessarily fantastic. He's also mostly going up against the second-team defense, so take that for what it is. Although Iowa's defense, that second-team defense, is still a pretty formidable group, not quite the same as first-teamers. So that's kind of where the quarterback position stands. And if I were to rank the biggest question marks for these next 2.5 weeks for Iowa football, quarterback really is number one, especially after Saturday.
We're talking all things Iowa football right now with John Steppe, who covers the squad for the Cedar Rapids Gazette. John, I want to ask you about a guy in Luke Lachey and how he's doing coming back from an unfortunate injury last year. There seems to be, the opinions around the country of some of the best tight ends, not only in the country, but maybe, in the conference, but in the country. His name has been involved in some of those conversations that I've seen. Where are we at with Luke Lachey? How is he recovering from the injury, and what do you expect from him this year on offense?
I think this is going to be a big year for him. He's fully healthy. He didn't participate in Saturday's open practice, but sounds like nothing major there. So having him back, you just look at what he did in the small sample size where he was healthy last year. And he was by far the most productive receiver that McNamara had to throw to in those first 2 games. And you give him a full sample size now of 12, 13, 14 games. And I think you could expect a lot from him. I think he's definitely somebody that could be in the national conversation. You look at Iowa's tight end history, Sam Laporta most recently, and you can put Luke Lachey in that same category. And I'm really looking forward to seeing what he can do with a fully healthy season as that first tight end. because we saw a lot of signs of, oh man, he could be really the real deal here when he's the number 2 guy behind Sam Laporta. And now it's his room. And the other thing, too, that helps them is they have a very capable second tight end, Addison Ostrenga. So if defenses pay a little too much attention to Lachey, okay, well, then they're still going to pay the price with Ostrenga. So I expect a lot of things this year for the Columbus native, and I think he's definitely somebody who could be in the national conversation as you get into semifinalist, finalist season for the Mackey Award.
Iowa in the transfer portal rankings were 130th this year. They brought in 4 guys. They lost 13 to the portal. Are fans at all worried about Iowa as college football transitions into this new transfer portal NIL world? Are they worried that they might get left behind?
That's an interesting question. I think the thing that you don't see with a lot of those numbers is Iowa did a better job retaining players who could have gone to the NFL. And you look at a guy like linebacker Jay Higgins. He comes back for another year after taking over for Jack Campbell really admirably at that middle linebacker spot, tied the program record for tackles in a single season in his first year as a starter. So you look at him, he comes back. You look at a guy like Nick Jackson, who gets an NCAA waiver for another season because of his shortened season at Virginia a couple years back. And they retained so many players that they really didn't have all that much space for more guys to add just because they retained so many people. Sebastian Castro could be he plays Iowa's hybrid cash position, which is basically kind of a hybrid safety-ish position. And he's arguably one of the best slot corners in the country. So they retained a lot of players that you weren't necessarily counting on them retaining. And that's where this year the portal numbers are a little different. In terms of Iowa's NIL operation, it's certainly not at a Ohio State level or some of those other kind of blue bloods at the top of the conference. But you look at the other schools kind of in that middle tier of the Big Ten that Iowa is competing with, and Swarm's efforts there have been very competitive compared to some of those others. So that's where this year is a little different, but we've seen in the past where they've been aggressive when they've needed to in the portal, going back to between the 2022 and 2023 seasons, very aggressive, getting Cade McNamara, Eric Hall, both from Michigan. Of course, Caleb Brown from Ohio State. He is somebody that really needs to take another step this year with that wide receiver position really lacking some production in recent years. So they've been aggressive when they've wanted to, but in this past year, the retention of players is something that a lot of people here in Iowa City are quick to tout when you bring up the portal.
He's John Steppe. He covers Iowa football for the Cedar Rapids Gazette. He is also a cheese curd connoisseur. John, we appreciate your time, man. Thanks for everything you do covering the Big Ten, specifically Iowa, and I'm sure we'll be talking to you down the road. Could be a very exciting game when Iowa comes down here to Columbus.
Yes, looking forward to the trip to Columbus. That's one of my favorite Big Ten cities to visit.
Yeah, man, it'll be a good time. Hopefully we'll see you down there. So thanks so much. He's John Steppe. He was on the Bryant Heating and Cooling Systems fan guest hotline. Real quick, I noticed on their schedule they get a bye week before they come down to Columbus. So I'm sure they're very happy.
It's always nice
about that. They take on Minnesota September 21st. They're off the next week, and then they come down to Columbus on October 5th, with what should be I believe, a top 25 matchup. So that'll be a nice little ramp up for Ohio State. Coming up next, how does a really good run game affect the wide receivers? Emeka Egbuka will tell you next. It's Rothman and Ice right here on The Fan.
Chops has serial killer eyes, and Reeser can grow a full beard before lunch. What can your friends do? Bishop and Friends.
Weekday mornings at 9.
The Fan.
We know your golf game is ugly, but your course doesn't have to be. Experience the natural beauty of Delaware Golf Club today. Delaware Golf Club is now open to the public and only 10 miles up the road from 270. For the best rates, book your tee time online at DelawareGolfClub.com.
Contractors, builders, apartment managers, listen up. There's a new cabinet company in town, Choice Cabinet. Over 60,000 in-stock cabinets ready for you. They want your business. Call them 216-378-9313 or online at choicecabinet.com.
It's time to start saving with deals for days at Giant Eagle and Market District. From the everyday essentials to your must-have branded favorites, Deals for Days has low prices on more than 1,000 items across the store. Don't delay. These discounted prices on your go-to groceries will only be available for a limited time. Learn more about Deals for Days at gianteagle.com or dive into savings today at your local Giant Eagle or Market District.
Hey, Buckeye fans, ready for the chance to win one of 12 ultimate Buckeye experiences? As the official wing sponsor of Ohio State Athletics, Roosters is kicking off an incredible giveaway you won't want to miss. We're talking tickets, sideline passes, a trip for two to the Oregon game, and exclusive access to the Ryan Day Coaches Show. Go to roosterswings.com to register and see all the details. 3 drawings, 12 winners. Register today and every day. Roosters, a fun, casual joint.
Are you or a loved one struggling with addiction? Too many families suffer in silence, watching someone they care about struggle day after day. At Pinnacle Treatment and Recovery Works, we understand the pain and the heartache. More importantly, we know how to help. Our comprehensive addiction treatment programs can help you reclaim your life. Imagine waking up with hope, free from the fear of withdrawal. Help your loved ones, your son, your daughter, or help yourself. Take the step that changes everything. Visit pinnacletreatment.com/Ohio. Your new life starts now.
If you're obsessed with fantasy sports and gambling things, we have the slightly above average radio show for you. On the Money with Dave Biddle and Scotty Vegas.
Presented by the Sportsbook at Hollywood Casino Columbus.
Wednesday night at 8 on The Fan.
Welcome to Nada Yada Island.
This season on Nada Yada Island.
You were charging your phone? I waited hours for you.
That's how long it takes.
Join Metro and get a free Motorola Edge that'll charge for the day in 15 minutes. At Metro, there's no activation fees. Only at Metro by T-Mobile.
Bring your number ID and sign up for Metro Flex Plus plan. Offer not available if at T-Mobile or have been with Metro in the past 180 days. Requires 68-watt charger sold separately. Actual performance will vary.
Hi, I'm Joanna Williams, General Manager at Tansky Sawmill Toyota, and this month 0% financing is back by popular demand on the 2024 Toyota Tundra for 48 months. But hurry in before they're gone. Visit TanskySawmillToyota.com for details. And when you think Toyota, think Tansky with approved credit, tax title, and $250 doc fee not included. Offer ends August 30th.
Think Toyota. Think Tansky. Think Tansky.
Something amazing is happening. Data is powering insights and innovation. Network security has cyber attacks playing defense. Devices are improving the quality of work and the quality of life. That's what happens when you partner with CDW. Our experts help you get the most from your technology. We work with you to plan it, build it at scale, and manage it, so you can do amazing things. CDW. Make amazing happen. Learn more at CDW.com.
Home ownership. At Progressive, we know it's part of the American dream. It's majestic golden eagles and other less majestic birds taunting you through the baseball-sized hole in your new windows. It's soaring guitar solos performed through faulty wiring in your garage, which subsequently erupts into flames. It's also round-the-clock protection when you bundle your home and auto with Progressive, which can help keep the American dream of home ownership alive and kicking. Get a quote at Progressive.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company affiliates and other insurers. Not available in all states.
Want to know anything about the Fans contest, how to win, or what's up for grabs? Check out 971thefan.com. The Fan, Ohio's sports destination.
Rothman and Ice present Buckeye Bulletin.
Sponsored by Logan AC and Heat Services. Feeling the heat? Call the experts at Logan Services now for hot deals on train systems, including 0% APR for 60 months.
All right, Baker, let's knock out a Buckeye Bulletin. Ryan Baker filling in for AR today. You know, you brought this up earlier when we were talking about Jeremiah Smith, J.J. Smith. Got to get clarification on that. That's going to bug me. Because, you know, if I want to know what he wants to be called, you know?
I mean, I think both are good, but it seems to be throughout the team at least, and people cover the team, it's been J.J. the whole time.
So we'll go with J.J. for now because you're right. I have been seeing that pick up some steam here recently. But you brought up the point of, you know, you got these horses at running back, right, with Travion and Quinshine. You take their talent and you combine it with what Chip Kelly has done as a play caller throughout his time, not only at UCLA, but at Oregon, where his programs were at the top of that conference in rushing attacks almost year in and year out. And that definitely was the case the last 2 years at UCLA when they led the Pac-12 in rushing. But how is that going to affect the wide receiver room? Because I think, and I could be wrong, but I think the perception of the Ohio State offense around the country, and this isn't a bad thing, is that, you know, they're kind of wide receiver U now. I know Ohio State and LSU, they go at it for that claim, but when you look at not only what some of the names have done here at the collegiate level, but what these dudes have done in the NFL, like immediately, Garrett Wilson, Chris Olave having success. I expect the same thing from Marvin Harrison Jr., and there's been a lot of guys before them, obviously, that have balled out as well. Maybe the identity of the offense looks a little bit different. Emeka Egbuka is the guy that is going to be the leader of the wide receiver room this year with his seasoning and his experience that he has here at Ohio State. And here he is talking about, you know, how maybe a run-first offense, how that could maybe even help the passing game.
You know, we got to see how everything stacks up when we put it on the field, but a run-first offense opens up big lanes for the passes. You know, you got to take the safeties low, you got to do all that type of stuff. So it's less about who gets the touches and more about, you know, how we can capitalize on opportunities that we're given.
Ohio State's offense this year, Bake, has a chance to be deadly with play-action pass. Play-action pass. When you're talking about, man, early on in the game, and that offensive line, they're leaning on people, and Quinshawn and Travion, those guys are picking up, 4 and 6 and a couple chunk plays here. Like late in the game, as a defender, mentally, you're not gonna be able to help it but to lean that way. And as soon as you do that, Will or whoever takes the rock back and hit you up over the top.
It's so exciting to think about a backfield with both Travion and Quinshawn in it at the same time with Will Howard at quarterback.
Yeah.
And then you've got Carnell Tate, Jeremiah Smith, and Emeka Egbuka on the outside. And don't forget, remember Ohio State tried to incorporate Emeka Egbuka into the running game last year with some jet sweeps, and he wasn't even healthy. Maybe this year with a healthy Emeka, maybe they can turn him into that as well. And don't even Brandon Ennis in that as well.
That's what I'm saying. They got options. I like to call it, that Cheesecake Factory menu where they got so many different menu items all over the place. That's where Chip Kelly has at his disposal. I got so many different things I can do. I think the creativity down in the red zone is going to be a lot of fun.
There's a lot on his Andy Reid Waffle House play card to go over.
100%. Chip Kelly, he's got to be feeling good right now, right? Like, he decides to go from a head coach to an offensive coordinator. And I think for a guy that has always been a really good offensive mind to now, that's all you worry about.
Just has to focus on that with all of these weapons.
No doubt, right? Because as a head coach now, you got to worry about, defense and special teams and NIL, meeting with boosters and all this stuff that you got to do as a head coach. I'm expecting a really good year from Chip Kelly as a play caller. Emeka, here he is talking about, the growth that he's seen from J.J. Smith since he got here.
Probably just his mental, just his ability to, take in the good with the bad and, kind of consume the playbook and, growing his knowledge of the game. Because as a freshman, when you come in, that's something that, you may lack a little more than your physical ability, especially for someone like Jeremiah. He has all the physical tools you might need. So it's kind of catching up that mental game. And it can be hard as a freshman because there's so much stuff flying over your head, especially with all the praise he's receiving. But he's taking it, the best way he can, and he's doing great.
And, there's probably going to be those situations, right, where you maybe see a coverage that you hadn't seen in high school, or things change post-snap and all of that, and maybe that first test will be that Iowa game, right, when they come in here with a really good defense. But he's going to carve out a role, and he's going to be carving up defenses sooner rather than later in Scarlet and Gray.
I think that's the biggest mental thing for J.J. Smith is all these accolades, all this praise being heaped on you, and you haven't even played a game in college yet. But I think the thing that helps that is Denzel Burke locking him up in practice and knocking the ball away. Davison and Igbinosun putting the smack down on him when he goes over the middle to try to catch a ball. This defensive backfield will humble you and get rid of those accolades real quick. And that's probably helped J.J. Smith a lot.
And it sounds like that secondary that you're talking about, they're going to let you know about it too. when they make a good play, because it sounds like David Igbenogson is one of those guys that likes to get the
IGB effect.
Yeah, he likes to chirp, and I like that. I like a corner that's got that confidence, because you got to have confidence at corner, man, because that's a very difficult position.
I'm guessing Jermaine Matthews does that a lot, too.
Listen, and Jermaine Matthews is like, I was out here on the field getting reps in last year in game action. I'm ready to go. If my number is called, I'm ready to help as well. Quick one here. I want to hear from Emeka and Brandon Ennis.
First and foremost, he got voted on by his peers to the leadership committee on our team, which is a group of about 16 to 20 of our guys who the team looks to as leaders. So obviously you can see how people think of him on this team. They think highly of him, and he comes in every day. He has a very fiery, competitive nature, and he puts in really hard work in and days out. So even though he hasn't seen the field too much yet, we have no concern that when he does step onto the field, he's going to make a great impact.
He was big. He was a big-time recruit. Now he's been waiting his time, and hopefully that'll show itself on Saturday.
One catch in his college career, and the team voted him a leader. That's pretty impressive.
Tells you a lot. That is today's Buckeye Bulletin. Top of the hour after an update in a deep dive. Apparently, there's been some talking heads that have been going at it about two head coaches in the AFC North, specifically Mike Tomlin and Kevin Stefanski. Can't wait to hear that. We'll react to it after the break. It's Rothman and Ice right here in the Fan.
We're the girthiest radio station in the history of radio. Uncomfortably girthy. This promo is uncomfortable. The Fan, Ohio's girth destination.
Hey, it's Bobby. When it comes to tackling a project as important as your roof, you want a company that cares about the product and experience they're going to deliver. At Newman Roofing, you're more than just a number. They believe in 100% customer satisfaction. And for your roofing needs, give them a call at 614-NEW-ROOF or newmanroofing.com.
It's the summer sell-down at Performance Chrysler Jeep Dodge Ram. Get 0% for 36 months on select Wranglers, Gladiators, and Grand Cherokees with no payments for 90 days. One Performance, 2 locations, Georgesville and Delaware.
With approved credit from Stellantis Financial Services on select 24 in-stock inventory. Cannot combine offers. Ends 8/30/24.
Football, it's approaching. It's almost here, and it's time to get in on the action early this season. Don't wait too long. There are going to be a ton of NFL futures bets out there. Who's going to win the most competitive division, the AFC North? Do you like the Browns? Do you like the Bengals, the Ravens, the Steelers? You can have the parlays with the player props, the TDs, the rushing yards. It's all there for you, Beam. So get in on the action.
Even if you want to go to Sharky's level on FanDuel, you can parlay 8 teams to win the divisions to have your payday be that much bigger. Right now, new customers, you're going to get $150 in bonus bets if your first $5 bet wins. There's no better place to get ready for the football season than on FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NFL.
That's right, Beamsy. Unless you have forgotten, just visit FanDuel.com/juice to sign up today. Must be 21 and older and present in Ohio. First online real money wager only. $5 first deposit required. Bonus issued as non-withdrawable bonus bets, which expire 7 days after receipt. Restrictions apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
August may seem like the end of summer. It also means the beginning of a lot of things, like back to school, festivals, football. At Buckeye Lake Marina, it means the August savings days are upon us. Get huge discounts on all of the new and used boats that they didn't sell. Every pontoon, tri-toon, sport boats, even fishing boats are ready for you. Save thousands on demo models that have been used all summer to show off amazing features. Some have never even been in the water. Take advantage of the August savings days at Buckeye Lake Marina. Their summer hours continue through the entire month of August. Visit BuckeyeLakeMarina.com for details.
Getting quality employees to fill positions in your company is essential, but finding those people can be a major hassle, unless you use ZipRecruiter. ZipRecruiter makes finding quality people a breeze. And right now you can try it for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. With ZipRecruiter, one click sends your job to hundreds of top job sites. But more than that, ZipRecruiter's advanced technology identifies the candidates with the skills you need, sends you a list of great matches to review, then actively invites them to apply for your job. And the results speak for themselves. 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. That's right, the first day. Now you can focus on your business and let ZipRecruiter do the work finding the best people for you. See for yourself. Experience the ease, efficiency, and power of ZipRecruiter for free. Just go to ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter.com/free.
Broadcasting from the Lindsay Honda Studios.
Honda makes the cars. Lindsay makes the difference. Visit lindsayhonda.com.
WBNS-FM, HD1 Columbus. The Fan. Sports. Sports Center.
Good afternoon. I'm Ryan Baker. Cleveland Browns rookie defensive tackle and former Buckeye Mike Hall Jr. has been arrested following a domestic dispute last night. Minnesota Vikings rookie quarterback J.J. McCarthy needs to undergo surgery for a torn meniscus. It is unknown yet how much time he needs to miss. Matthew Boyd makes his Guardians debut tonight against the Cubs at Progressive Field. Boyd hasn't pitched in a major league game since June 26th of last season after undergoing Tommy John surgery. First pitch 6:40. Down at Great American Ballpark, the Cincinnati Reds take on the St. Louis Cardinals, also at 6:40. Hunter Green gets the start for Cincy. This update sponsored by BMI Federal Credit Union. BMI, your best credit union 6 years in a row, has 47 financial coaches to help you on your financial journey. Visit bmifcu.org/coach for more info.
Most shows just skim the surface, but Rothman and I feel like the biggest story of the day deserves a closer look. It's time for a deeper dive.
Sponsored by Maxima Concrete. Visit MaximaConcrete.com today to schedule your free estimate.
All right, welcome back in. Matty Ice, Ryan Baker, double duty today on the update desk and chopping it up with me. He's in for AR. CB's in the house doing his thing. Bottom of the hour, we'll talk all things. I was going to say National College Football. That just sounds weird because that's like National Football League. That doesn't even sound right. Talk about everything around the world of college football with our guy, Brad Crawford.
It's a National Big Ten now.
Yeah, exactly. From 24/7 Sports. Before we get into, I guess, what was a pretty heated debate about two AFC North head coaches, did you see the video that came out from ESPN where yesterday during their show, NBA Today, there was an earthquake that hit California? Where
and Malika just handled it like a pro.
She absolutely
like a
killed
champ.
it. So she's talking to Lisa Leslie. Rebecca
Lobo.
Rebecca Lobo. She's talking to her about the women, Team USA, the women, because they won gold, and congrats to them on doing that. You know, America, we had to bring it home with the most medals. But she's in the middle of her interview, and literally all you see is like the camera almost like turn over. It looks like this wasn't one of those subtle, like, you see videos of people like, oh, like I feel something, like the ground shit. Like this was like, oh yeah, like, you know, God took his hands and like shook a snow globe. Like that's
it looked
what
like
it looked
a handheld because it looks like she mentions the camera operator and the camera kind of moves like it was almost like a human moved it.
It was crazy, man. It was a wild scene, and that's why I'm like, for me, California, between the earthquakes and the fires, in Florida, between like the hurricanes and all that, like I know people love going there, living there. I don't want to live there. I just want to visit and get the hell out.
I don't know if they do earthquake drills while you're on live TV at ESPN, but she looked like she had been doing like that the 100th time she's done it.
Yeah. Like just another day.
She's like, we're having an earthquake. Is everybody okay? Hold on, Rebecca. Can we check on everybody in the back? Producer, do we have the video?
It was something,
amazing.
man. But you're right. She handled it very well. But I couldn't believe that, man. That's some eye-opening stuff there for sure. We talked to Jared Dubin earlier. He covers the NFL for CBS Sports, and you posed to him, you know, the possibility or maybe the perception of what is the best division in football. And for us, our bread and butter, what we focus on, what we talk about most is the AFC North. So much history in this division. The rivalries are real. The physicality, you can feel it coming through the TV screen. You know, when the leaves change colors and the weather changes, it hits different, right? In the AFC North. It's a great division to be a part of.
Browns, Steelers, Ravens players, all you've heard them talk about when they play that other team. It feels different after that game. Mm-hmm. Like the ice baths are a little longer. Mm-hmm. The ibuprofen is taken a little more, and those just the physicality. They don't like each other.
Yeah, like I want to knock your head off your shoulders for 3 hours on a Sunday. Like that's the brand of football that we get in the AFC North. And so you guys made me aware of this. I have not heard this, but apparently this is Dan Orlovsky, ESPN NFL analyst, and Harry Douglas, who does media for ESPN, radio, TV, former NFL wide receiver himself. And I guess the topic came up of who would you rather have between Browns head coach Kevin Stefanski and Steelers head coach Mike Tomlin. And these guys were going at it. And I think CB's got the audio ready for us.
Okay, Dan, so did the Cleveland Browns, and they got mollywopped in the playoffs. What's your point?
That's what I'm talking about when I say they went to the playoffs. You said if they get quarterback play, they're a legit contender. You don't feel that way about Cleveland when they just did it with Joe? That's what
I
I'm
didn't
saying.
say they wasn't a contender. Who do you trust more? Do you trust Mike Tomlin or you trust Kevin Stefanski more, Dan? Tell me who you trust more.
Kevin Stefanski's a 2-time coach of the year.
So what? He hasn't won a dang old thing, Dan. Who do you trust more, Stefanski or Mike Tomlin? Answer the question.
They're both great coaches.
Don't tell me about what he's a 2-time coach of the year. He ain't won a doggone playoff game. Or maybe he won one.
That doesn't.
So I love that type of stuff. I love it. Kevin Stefanski was out of sight, out of mind for the Browns playoff game in Pittsburgh, right? Yeah. That was COVID. Was he out for COVID?
Yes, it was a COVID thing. And that's my one beef with what Harry Douglas said there. Like at the end, like you got to be prepared. If you're bringing that take, like not only does Kevin Stefanski have a playoff win, again, he wasn't there. Alex Van Pelt, I believe, was the acting head coach that day because Stefanski had COVID, but not only did they get the win, they beat the Steelers in that game.
And it was pretty handily, too. Like, it got out of hand quickly, I think.
Well, early on, didn't they, strip fumble on the first play or something like that?
They got out of hand pretty quick. So, both those guys, I respect the heck out of both of them, especially after what Kevin Stefanski did last year. Because Kevin Stefanski, this isn't like a guy that lost not only his starting quarterback, we're talking multiple quarterbacks last year. 4 or 5 guys that suited up and played real snaps for the Browns as their QB1 last year. He's not a guy that is a defensive head coach that had the offensive coordinator take over and the train was still rolling. I mean, he was the mastermind. He was the one that had to make all those changes on the fly and adjusted and brought in Joe Flacco, and those guys worked really well together and cooked a lot of defenses. So I guess the question is from Harry Douglas, who do you trust more as a head coach? And I know you're a Browns fan, but who do you trust more between Mike Tomlin and Kevin Stefanski?
So this is Mike Tomlin all day to me. I am not. I'm a Browns fan. I am not. And maybe I'm just too close with my fandom. Maybe I'm blurred here. Mm-hmm. I'm not a Kevin Stefanski guy. I am a huge Mike Tomlin fan. Like I've said this, the best bet in the NFL this year to me is the Steelers over 8.5 or over 7.5. It's different bets, different places at other wherever you go. But that's the best bet in the NFL to me is the Steelers over because Mike Tomlin is a guy. He's been doing this for a long time. Mm-hmm. He has never had a losing under 500 season in the NFL. They went 10-7 last year. Now I understand Joe Burrow and that division was down, but you only played them twice. They went 10-7 last year with Kenny Pickett, Mason Rudolph, and Mitch Trubisky at quarterback. You're telling me that the combination of Russell Wilson and Justin Fields isn't better than that? You've also got Najee Harris in a contract year. Mm-hmm. So you know he's going to have a great year at the running back position. I hate them, but I have so much respect for the Steelers organization.
The Steelers, to your point, I think, because I think you would receive some pushback from Steeler fans because I think the Steelers have champagne problems. And what I mean by that is they've been spoiled a little bit, right? Like you start off this tremendous run of success with Mike Tomlin, bunch of playoff wins, Super Bowls, all of those things. And it's been a minute since they've really gotten to the tournament and made a lot of noise. And so the bar has been set so high that some of the Steeler fans that I've talked to, they're like, yeah, I like Mike Tomlin. He's the guy. But it's time for him to put, a fresh, coat of paint on the Steelers brand again and really make us what we used to be. To your point, though, I think it is very, very difficult to do that when you don't have a dude at quarterback. Or, even if you don't have a middle-of-the-road quarterback, a guy that can grab a hold of the steering wheel. Maybe you're not in the fast lane, but maybe you're in the slow lane, and you can still get to where you want to go and have it be a smooth ride. And I'm with you, man. I think with the 2 quarterbacks that they have, that will provide a safe floor for them. We know their defense is nasty. On all 3 levels, they got dudes, right? TJ Watt, he's won Defensive Player of the Year. They now acquire Patrick Queen from the Ravens. That was a baller. And then on the back end, you got Minkah Fitzpatrick. So that unit with Highsmith and Hayward and the guys that I just mentioned, that's absolutely going to have them in the mix there. And so they're going to be an interesting team to watch. I think this division has 4 really good head coaches in it. I really do. Between John Harbaugh, who's won Super Bowls, Mike Tomlin, who's won a Super Bowl, Zach Taylor, that's been to a Super Bowl, and Kevin Stefanski's got 2 Coach of the Year trophies in his man cave. I mean, you're talking about a division that it doesn't feel like there's going to be a bunch of change in the near future. Now, anything could happen. We all understand that. But I think all 4 fan bases, while you may look at those guys and say, you know what, they're not perfect. Nobody is. Andy Reid's at the top of the mountain. But you have to feel at least pretty good to really good about who your head coach is right now in the AFC North.
Yeah, and you think of the Ravens and the Steelers, obviously such great organizations like we've talked about. The Bengals, they've got Joe Burrow, who I think is the second best on the planet at what he does. And as long as you have him, you're going to be okay. And then this Browns team, you love the roster. This roster and this core is intact, and it's going to be here for a little while. It's just now, what are you getting out of the quarterback position? But, yeah, this AFC North, it's going to be stout for a few years.
It really is, because you mentioned, too, I mean, especially the top 2 quarterbacks in the division. You got the 2-time MVP in Lamar, and then you have Joe Burrow. Those guys, man, they got a chance to be around for a very, very long time. And obviously, look, Joey B's had his injury issues, and Lamar is still trying to get deeper into the postseason. But we're talking guys that are just now at the beginning of their prime. And the NFL has shown us now that, especially with the way that the league protects quarterbacks, that you got a chance to play for a long time, too. And so when we turn the page to 25, like, what does the Steelers quarterback situation look like? I don't think they're going to be good enough, because I agree. They're not going to be bad enough, I should say, to get one of the elite quarterbacks in the draft. So are they going to have to go down a different road and maybe throw a big bag at one of these guys that's going to be a free agent or whatever it's going to be? So they start the year at Atlanta and at Denver, and then they bring in the Chargers week 3. And it's going to be fun to see what the black and gold can do there. Do you have if I ask you this question, your 2024 favorite for NFL Coach of the Year? If I threw some names at you, like a lot of people like Matt LaFleur for the Packers, and let's say they go take a real jump up, could he be a guy? Shane Steichen, for the Colts, people like them a lot. Harbaugh, look, man, the dude, he's a good football coach. Crazy behind a microphone, but he's a good football coach. Is there a guy that you like in the Coach of the Year realm?
I think Shane Steichen's an interesting one, because if Anthony Richardson comes back and continues to show what he showed in the small sample size last year, combine that with a Jonathan Taylor, I think Indianapolis is a team that could challenge Houston and maybe even win that AFC South. So I think that's an interesting one. I think Zach Taylor could be one, because the Bengals, I think, are going to be, especially with Joe Burrow healthy, if they have him healthy for a whole year, what they did to shore up their safety position in the offseason. And I love the Jermaine Burton pickup. I think he's going to fit right in as that third receiver. And I like the Mike Gesicki pickup as well at tight end. I think the Bengals are going to have a really good year. I've said this before, that I think they make the Super Bowl this year out of the AFC. And if they do that, I think Zach Taylor's going to be a big-time candidate for that.
I got to see what their defense looks like before I get there with you. Offensively, I'm with you with they can be one of the best units, but their defense was a mess last year.
By the way, over at Bet365, the Steelers, they've got 3 different options for the Steelers. They've got a 7.5, an 8.5, and a 9.5 over-under win total for them. If you want to go 8.5, you're getting plus 120 on that, and I think that's just a guarantee. I think it's a guarantee they get to 9 wins.
I'm not mad at that at all. Real quick, because I like your call on Shane Steichen. Anthony Richardson has a chance to make a statement as far as, you like all these young quarterbacks around the league? Let me let you know who I am. Week 1, they host C.J. Stroud. Week 2, they go on the road to Green Bay. And week 3, he welcomes in Caleb Williams. So you're talking 3 quarterbacks that people love, especially the top 2 in Love and Stroud. And a lot of people think that Caleb Williams is going to be on his way to be the next star. You're Anthony Richardson. You're licking your chops to say, you know what? Yeah, you guys need to be talking about me a little bit more.
By the way, this our boss Fish just sent this to us on an email. Harbaugh is not going to be coming back to be the honorary captain for Michigan's opening game. He called Sharon Moore and told him that he needed to stay in Los Angeles with the Chargers, and he didn't want to take the spotlight off of the 2024 Michigan Wolverines.
He never does that. He never does that, huh? Never does that. Coming up in pre-snap reads.
Just play into it, Harbaugh. Come back and throw it in their face.
Oh, my goodness. What a mess, right? Coming up in pre-snap reads. There's a ton of pressure on not only Tua, but his teammate in Tyreek Hill. How does Tyreek plan on handling that pressure? And he talks about what it means for the Miami Dolphins next. It's Rothman and Ice right here on The Fan.
The only show where sports talk is eclipsed by food talk. Common Man and T-Bone.
Weekdays from 3 to 6.
The Fan.
We're dealing at Reichert Nissan. Hundreds of Nissans in stock, on the ground, and priced to sell fast. Low lease payments on brand new Reichert Nissan Sentras, only $219 a month. Now we're really dealing. With our lowest prices and 72-hour exchange policy, you can't buy the wrong car. Visit the Reichert Mega Mall off 270 and 33, or shop thousands of new and certified used at ReichertNissan.com. We're dealing.
With approved credit. 2024 Sentra SV FWD 36-month lease with $3,000 due at signing. Offer ends 9/3/24.
Hey, what's up? It's T-Bone. If you need a new roof but you're not sure you can afford it, no problem. Right now, Able Roof is offering no payments, no interest until 2026 for qualified buyers. Yep, that's the same Able Roof that's been voted the #1 roofing company in Columbus by Consumer Choice Awards 22 years in a row. Want more? Able Roof will give you up to $1,000 off a new roof, siding, or windows. This is a limited time offer, so call Able Roof today.
Call Able for the proof. 444 Roof.
It's time that we face the facts when it comes to organ, eye, and tissue donation. It exists to save and heal lives. It's a way to look out for one another, to continue a legacy and give the gift of a fuller future, the gift of life.
But what about the barriers around organ donation?
Cost, age, religion, race, or health status are not factors that can get in the way. All it really takes is one epic yes. Register today to become an organ, eye, and tissue donor at donatelifeohio.org.
Lanny went to college and racked up huge debt.
A little bit over $100,000.
For a degree he couldn't use? Now what?
I had a friend that went to my computer career and they talked to me about it.
He was done in just months.
I did do it online.
They even helped him get hired immediately after graduation.
One of the things I love about IT is that you can work from anywhere you want.
You could become an IT pro in just months with zero experience at My Computer Career.
It worked for me and I know it can work for you.
It's not rocket science. It's mycomputercareer.edu.
The Fan app is about to become your new best friend. Your one-stop shop for all your favorite fan shows. ESPN Columbus and BetQL. Live or on demand. Listen on your schedule. Download the 97.1 The Fan app today. It's free. Do it.
When an orthopedic injury or condition gets in the way of life, there is nothing more important than finding a physician you can trust. At Orthopedic One, you'll find Central Ohio's most trusted team of orthopedic experts, ready to listen to your concerns and work with you toward the best possible outcome. In fact, more people trust Orthopedic One than any other practice in Central Ohio. Start with the specialists. Start with orthopedic1.com.
0% up to 48 months on 2024 and 25 new Lindsay Hondas.
That's zero, zip, zilch, nada.
This August, Lindsay has unbelievable savings by offering 0% up to 4 years on every Honda on the lot. Lindsay has over 500 vehicles.
If we don't have it, it doesn't exist.
Plus, talk to us about electric options with up to $97.27 and combined savings with dealer and federal tax credits.
LindsayHonda.com or I-70 in Bryce Road.
With approved credit on select in-stock 24-25 Honda models. Dealer contribution may affect consumer cost.
We're seeing more and more heinous crimes committed in Ohio by illegal immigrants who shouldn't be here.
The driver of the minivan that hit a school bus full of kids in Clark County, now in custody. 52 kids were on board the bus at the time of the crash. One was killed. 22 others taken to hospitals.
Hermanio Joseph charged with aggravated vehicular homicide.
Hermanio Joseph is here illegally. But Senator Sherrod Brown voted to give amnesty to 11 million illegal immigrants, including those convicted of violent crimes like aggravated assault, child abuse, and drunk driving. Call Senator Sherrod Brown at 216-522-7272 and tell him to support S4689, the Justice for Jocelyn Act, and start protecting Ohio families, not criminal illegals who shouldn't even be in the country. Paid for by One Nation. www.onenationamerica.org.
Fan Weather.
From the Logan AC and Heat Services Weather Center.
Today, partly to mostly sunny, high 84. There may be a stray shower possible between 1 and 9 o'clock this afternoon. Dry overnight tonight with a low of 60. Tomorrow looks sunny with a high of 87. I'm meteorologist Dylan Robichaud with your 10 TV weather impact forecast on 97.1 The Fan.
Bet365 is the exclusive online sportsbook of Rothman and Ice. Whatever the sport, whatever the moment, it's never ordinary at Bet365.
Rothman and Ice present Pre-Snap Reads.
Sponsored by the Low T Center, reinventing men's healthcare.
All right, let me let you know, folks, that at Bet365, we don't do ordinary. See for yourself when you sign up today and get $150 in bonus bets when you bet just $5. You know, you mentioned how high you are on the Bengals this year. You think they can get to the Super Bowl in 2024. I really love what their offense could be. And I was looking at Bet365, and I went over to the tab that says players with 10-plus receiving touchdowns in the regular season. And I love the value of Jamar Chase right now, plus 155. Give me Jamar Chase, 10-plus receiving touchdowns in the regular season. I've seen it with my own eyes for years, not only at the NFL level, but back in 2019, those guys were incredible. Maybe the best collegiate offense we've ever seen. One of them for sure. So I'm going to go roll with Uno on this and roll with 10-plus receiving touchdowns during the regular season at plus 155.
I think that's a pretty good bet for Jamar Chase in there, especially we mentioned Jermaine Burton. I think he's going to do a good job in that wide receiver 3 role for the Bengals, but it might take a little while, and Tyler Boyd was somebody that Joe already was comfortable with, so might be looking at Chase more.
There's been some good chatter about Andre Yoshivas, too, as a guy, too, that he and Burton can maybe split up some reps there in the slot, and we know that's what Zach Taylor loves to do, man. They're going to stretch your secondary out with the elite passing game that they have. Anything jump out to you?
I'm looking at our Reds tonight.
Oh, God.
Hunter Green. I don't love the odds on this, but his over-under on outs this evening is 17.5. In his last 6 starts, he's gone at least 6 innings in all of them. Dude has been pitching lights out. He has been a revelation for this Reds team, maybe a bright spot on a pretty dull season for the Reds this year. Minus 210 that he goes over those 17.5 outs. They need all the wins they can get. He needs to have a good outing tonight against the Cardinals. I think he does it. He goes at least 6 tonight. Okay. And I was looking at the strikeouts as well. 6.5, that line there, that's a little tough. I think Hunter Green's good tonight.
So we got the Reds doing their thing. First pitch, 640?
640, Great American Ballpark.
Same thing up in the land for CB's Guardians, Cubs, in-house tonight. Your boy Noel was on one last night, CB. How about that?
That's a big Christmas to you. That's his nickname.
Where did that come from, by the way?
Just because of Noel for his last name.
Okay.
Big Christmas. That's hilarious. 640 pitch up in Cleveland. First pitch up in Cleveland as well. Whatever the sport, whatever the moment, it's never ordinary at Bet365. Bet365 is the official sports betting partner of the Cleveland Guardians. Download the Bet365 app today. 21 plus only, must be present in Ohio. If you or someone you know has a gambling problem and wants help, call 1-800-GAMBLER.
And may the odds be ever in your favor.
Let's go down to the 305. Let's go down to the 305 South Beach. That's where the Miami Dolphins get down. Miami Dolphins.
It's your stomping grounds, ain't it?
I wish. I wish, man. Heard some great things about the 305. I got to get down there. You know, I was always jealous real quick of, Dan Le Batard and those guys there, ESPN radio studio.
Clevelander in the background.
Oh, my gosh. We get into some trouble down there. Get into some trouble down there in Miami. But the Miami Dolphins are going to be trying to create trouble for, opposing defenses this year. More importantly, really good teams. That was, the thorn in their side a year ago. But this offseason, they've been handing out money. They've taken care of a lot of their big dogs. Jalen Waddle, Tua's now their guy for the foreseeable future. And they just, remixed Tyreek Hill's deal and gave him some more money, as they should. But Tyreek Hill, he joined K-Abs on her show and talked about, some of the pressure now that's surrounding the team, but maybe even him now.
What aren't we talking about enough on this team?
winning the big games.
We're not talking about winning the big games? What do you mean? Like, what is that?
Nah, winning playoffs, bro. Winning the playoff game.
Winning in the playoff game.
Yeah.
People think you can't do it, but y'all were just injured. What do you? I feel like a lot of people talk about it.
No excuses,
how personally
bro.
do you take that?
I don't take it personal, man. Like, for real. I mean, the only thing I took personal was when I signed that contract. I felt like my ass was on the hot seat because if we don't do it this year, they're going to give them more room to get my ass up out of here. So we got to win this year.
I love what he's saying, but he's kind of lying. And what I mean by that is he's going to camp. Individually, he's a Hall of Fame talent. He's stamped himself as such when you leave Patrick Mahomes and you continue on the trajectory that he's been on with elite play. That guy's no doubt, to me, a Hall of Famer. But I like that he's taking himself out of it and putting himself in the team mix because that is the narrative around them, Bake, is that they can beat up on the bad teams. But I believe the record was 1-5 or 1-6 against teams that had either a 500 record or better or teams that were in the postseason last year. So that's what they got to show the world.
They're a team that obviously is super flashy, and they have a lot of talent, but I don't know if they're tough enough to win the big games. And like Tyreek Hill, you can talk about winning all you want. I'm not saying he doesn't want to win, but if you really wanted to win, you would have worked out a deal that could have had you stay in Kansas City.
He wanted to go down to the 305.
And that's fine, but you can't say that winning is all that matters then. Like, I just wonder if this Miami Dolphins team is all flash and no substance. Because, like, Tyreek Hill, I wonder if they put their money in the right spots. Because, like, Kansas City got rid of Tyreek Hill, and they haven't missed a beat. Now, I know they've got the best in the world to do it, and maybe the best head coach in the world right now.
And a Hall of Fame tight end.
And they have a great tight end, but they haven't missed a beat without Tyreek Hill.
But I don't like to use that example. Like, that's the exception.
And I get that, but I'm just saying, like, I heard somebody today, and they were talking about the Jamar Chase and the CeeDee Lamb things, and they were like, the Eagles figured it out. The Dolphins figured it out. Well, the Eagles figured it out, and they paid all these guys, and didn't look good down the stretch last year for the Eagles. And there's a lot of things being said about this Eagles team behind the scenes that maybe is imploding.
Yeah, what is going on
in Philadelphia? And Sirianni's on the hot seat, and the team went rogue on him last year. And this Dolphins team, again, they're high-powered. They're potent. But skill positions don't win football games all the time. A lot of times it's the toughness of the interior. So I just wonder if maybe, these teams got it done, but is it really working for them?
I think it's fair to ask that question at this point. And Bake, if they are cooking by Thanksgiving, could be a lot of bad talk about the Miami Dolphins because
it's tough.
Oh my! Listen to this. You're talking starting on November 28th at Green Bay. You host the Jets. You go to Houston. San Francisco comes to town. You go up to Cleveland, and then you got to go to New York. The last, 6 games of their season are teams that a lot of people view as playoff contenders. And maybe 1 or 2 of those are Super Bowl contenders in the minds of some in Houston and San Francisco. And so they got to get rolling early. There aren't a bunch of games where they can make statements early in the game. They do get Buffalo week 2, but that's going to be a new-look Buffalo Bills, so we don't know what that looks like. But at the bottom of November, when they make that trip to Lambeau Field on Thursday Night Football, when it's going to be cold, and if they come out of that one with a bad outing, and then you got to deal with the Jets and some good teams after that, talk could get real spicy about Mike McDaniel and whether or not he's the right guy for the Miami Dolphins.
And teams from the 305 don't like playing in that cold Thanksgiving Green Bay weather.
I'm saying it's at Cleveland, at New York. Yeah, that's going to be tough. That is today's Buckeye Bulletin. That's pre-snap reads for today. CB shaking his head like, you're a rookie, big dog. Get it together. Coming up next, a guy that's not a rookie, Brad Crawford, who covers college football very well for 24/7 Sports. He hops on after this. It's Rothman and Ice right here on The Fan.
If you miss a live show, you can catch the podcast. If you miss the podcast, our hosts have volunteered to have dinner with you.
The meatloaf!
The Fan.
Hey, what's up? It's T-Bone. Let's talk about your sleep, specifically if you're not getting enough of it. If you're feeling groggy all day because you didn't sleep well, that is an awful feeling. I've been there. And if you're snoring when you sleep, well, that could be a big reason why you aren't feeling rested. This fact surprised even me the first time I heard it, and that is as you age, your risk of having obstructive sleep apnea nearly doubles. That's right. You need to find out if your snoring is related to sleep apnea, because if it is, there's actually help available for you right now. Dr. Mark Levy is board certified in the treatment of sleep apnea, and he offers a custom-fitted oral appliance that effectively treats sleep apnea. I have been telling you about this for years. And maybe you've been snoring for years. Now's the time to get this fixed. Plus, most Medicare patients have little to no out-of-pocket costs for this treatment. So you need to stop putting it off. Don't ignore your snore. Get your sleep apnea treated by calling Dr. Mark Levy today at 1-800-MORE-SLEEP. Get the life back you deserve. Call Dr. Mark Levy today, 1-800-MORE-SLEEP, or visit him online at sleepbettercolumbus.com.
And what is it called?
A ceiling fan.
And where is it?
It's on the floor.
And why is that a problem?
Well, see, the person who named it probably should have called it a floor. No, that's not right. The guy on TV I saw put up a ceiling fan.
Are you a TV star, Paul?
No, I'm not.
Are you an electrician, Paul?
I am not.
You are?
I am a middle management accountant, and I shouldn't be putting up ceiling fans.
You should.
Call the pros who knows.
Apex Pros.
The pros who know electrical work, too. Hi, it's Alex from Apex Pros. And if you liked us for plumbing, cooling, and heating, you're going to love our pro electricians.
Apex Pros are on the way.
Much easier, isn't it?
I'm glad we sorted this out.
Me too.
Columbus loves the pros who knows. Schedule with one click at apexpros.com.
Morning Juice.
So people say they never have enough time. God gives us just the right amount of time. We just choose how we use it.
Morning Juice.
Sponsored by Affinity Whole Health.
Weekday mornings at 6. The Fan.
At AAA, it's our policy to look on the plus side, and AAA Plus members tend to take the same view. Take Martin. Last Monday, his coffee surprised him with an extra 10 degrees of Fahrenheit. It was just the jolt of energy he needed. Later, when he walked into a door, he was happy to provide entertainment for his coworkers.
I'm okay.
And when his car battery took early retirement, he knew expert roadside assistance was only a call away.
Hello, AAA.
Become a AAA Plus member and experience peace of mind on the plus side. Towing is subject to a 7-day waiting period. Terms and conditions apply.
My house has a new glow. I love my windows. Universal Windows Direct.
Call 614-502-5220 to schedule your free in-home estimate today. And for every 2 windows you buy, you get the next 2 free, plus 0% financing for 60 months. Like me, you'll be saying, I love my windows.
I love my windows. They've got that brand new home effect. Universal Windows Direct.
It's the summer sell-down at Performance Chrysler Jeep Dodge Ram. Get 0% for 36 months on select Wranglers, Gladiators, and Grand Cherokees with no payments for 90 days. 1 performance, 2 locations, Georgesville and Delaware.
With approved credit from Stellantis Financial Services on select 24 in-stock inventory. Cannot combine offers. Ends 8/30/24.
Score a goal with the Love My Crew checking account from Pathways, the checking account that rewards you for supporting the crew. Learn more at pathwayscu.com. Pathways Financial Credit Union, official credit union of the Columbus Crew, federally insured by NCUA.
Excuse me, waiter. There's a hair in my soup. A long purple hair.
I'm so sorry. I'll get the manager.
I'm the manager. How can I help?
Wait, weren't you the Plum Insurance mascot?
What gave it away? My long purple fur?
Something like that.
What if all insurance companies were like NJM and were known for putting their policyholders first, not gimmicks? Then all those insurance mascots would have to get real jobs.
I'll pass on dessert.
No jingles or mascots, just great insurance. NJM.
Rothman and Ice is sponsored by your local Pella Window and Door showroom on Gemini Parkway. The Fan, Ohio sports destination.
Both of these guys wear baseball hats every day, and it's because their hair is sewn into them. You're listening to Rothman and Ice.
That you are. Matty Ice, Ryan Baker in the house, going to bring on one of our favorites now. He's going to be on the Bryant Heating and Cooling Systems Fan Guest Hotline. He's Brad Crawford. Does an amazing job covering college football as an analyst over at 24/7 Sports. Brad, what are we, about 11, 12 days away, man? It's here. How are you?
Yeah, man, the heart of fall camp, and we've got running backs at every elite program dropping like flies. I'm hoping the injury bug stays away from the rest of this group, man.
Yeah, no doubt. It's been tough. As you know, it's a brutal sport, and this is unfortunately part of the equation. But you're right, man. Hopefully, some of this stuff can slow down. I mean, since you started there, I want to start with the Texas Longhorns. We found out, I believe, late last week or in the middle of the week, whenever that was, that C.J. Baxter, one of their horses at running back, he's going to be out for the year. How do you think, how much impact is that going to have on Texas this year?
Yeah, they've got a third teamer, too, who was hurt yesterday. So they've moved a linebacker and a wide receiver to that running back room, I was told this morning. So Steve Sarkisian might not have pressed the panic button last week, but he certainly is now after he had another injury during a scrimmage over the weekend. So, I mean, I personally had Jadon Blue as running back 1 this season, C.J. Baxter 2. Blue's healthy. He's one of the fastest players in the SEC in the backfield. But, man, I mean, you don't want to have to give a guy 25 to 30 carries anymore in this day and age in college football. You want to kind of split up the totes in the backfield. So I think it's worrisome, but, I haven't changed my Texas pick. I think they'll be one of 4 SEC teams in the playoffs.
Brad, the coaches poll came out a couple weeks ago. The AP poll dropped yesterday. A lot of people in the offseason seem to be down on Alabama and Michigan both, but both of those polls seem to still believe in those teams, having the AP yesterday having Alabama at 5 and Michigan at 9. Where do you think those two teams should slot in here as we head towards the season?
Yeah, I would have Alabama as a top 10 team right now. I would not have Michigan there. I'd probably have Michigan 11 or 12 or so. There's a couple of teams behind Michigan right now that I'd probably have over the Wolverines, just because, I mean, it's a huge mystery right now on offense. Alex Orji has thrown 1 collegiate pass so far in a game, and he's the likely starter. And Michigan hosts Texas in week 2. So, I mean, we're going to know very quickly just how good Michigan is, plays USC in its Big Ten opener a few weeks after that in September. So, I mean, Sharon Moore has his work cut out for him, man, especially after what the Wolverines were able to do last season. They'll enter this fall with, the nation's longest winning streak, defending national champions. They've got NCAA sanctions cloud now hanging over the program. So a lot of eyes on Michigan, but I don't think right now Michigan is a preseason top 10 team. But, I mean, it's still talking season, right? I don't even think we should have preseason polls because nobody really knows who's going to be good until we strap things up here in a couple weeks.
Brad Crawford, 24/7 sports college football analyst, joining us here on The Fan. Brad, I want to ask you about the Miami Hurricanes, right? Because in my opinion, Brad, when Miami's good, it's great for the sport of college football. Brought in some big-time names in the transfer portal. Mario Cristobal is a guy, as you know, came from Oregon down to the 305. Is this the year to where Miami finally makes a lot of noise?
And Mario Cristobal's sake, man, it has to happen now. I mean, there's no ACC team in that league that spent more money on its off-season roster than Miami. The Hurricanes went out and got Cam Ward from Washington State, Damian Martinez from Oregon State, several high-end wide receivers. They've got Ruben Bain coming back, who's a future first-round pick at edge. So, I mean, Miami has the look of a playoff team. I personally think Miami at number 19 in the AP poll yesterday is a bit underrated. Hurricanes have a top 12, top 10 maybe roster, and I think that this is the year that they do get it done and likely make the ACC championship game. And like I said, I mean, this is year 3 for Cristobal. He's been top 25 in the preseason the last 2 seasons and has not ended up there. So if I'm a Miami fan right now, I'm cautiously optimistic that this, future NFL-laden roster that he has down in Coral Gables finally gets it done.
Since we're talking about the ACC, let's stay right there, Brad. I'm not sure if there's a conference that's more wide open than that one. Florida State, Clemson, Miami, NC State. Some people even like SMU. Who do you like in the ACC?
Yeah, I think the ACC and Big 12 are 2 leagues that are just super unpredictable right now. I've got Florida State as my preseason champion, but that's very shaky. I'm more or less believing that Mike Norvell, for the 3rd straight year, can use a portal-laden roster and get to Charlotte in that championship game. But NC State is a legitimate dark horse. I think State finished 23 in yesterday's AP poll. I would put NC State right around top 15. I mean, they're that good talent-wise. They got Grayson McCall, quarterback from Coastal, who was one of the G5's most efficient quarterbacks ever. the last 3 years. They got Jordan Waters, Duke running back, Noah Rogers, wide receiver from Ohio State. So that offense is loaded at NC State, man. And in week 2, they play Tennessee and Charlotte, and then week 4, they go to Clemson. So if NC State starts the season 4-0, then people are going to be talking about, playoff in Raleigh, and rightfully so. So I'm with you. I think the ACC is probably 4 or 5 teams deep that could win that thing, and NC State is certainly one of them.
Let's head down to Baton Rouge and get your feel on LSU. I mean, Jaden Daniels made some splash plays in his first preseason game in the NFL. And, Brad, as you know, they lost a lot on offense. So now turning the page over to 2024. I think they had him 13th in the AP poll, somewhere around there yesterday. What are your thoughts on LSU now and what they're going to look like this year?
Yeah, the good news for LSU is they're going to have arguably the best offensive line in the SEC, and that could maybe shield a backfield that's not as talented in years past, maybe some new wide receivers there to go with Garrett Nussmeier, who replaces Jaden Daniels at quarterback. But, the million-dollar question at LSU this season, if they can get to a playoff, would be how much has the defense improved? Brian Kelly completely revamped his coaching staff on that side of the ball. He went and got Bo Davis, D-line coach from Texas. He went and got Blake Baker, Missouri's former DC. So he's putting all his eggs on that side of the ball. And, I think rightfully so. Back-to-back years, 10-win seasons, despite having 2 of the worst defenses in program history. So all LSU has to do is be a little bit better on that side of the ball, and they could be playoff bound. But I'm not sold on it yet, man. Outside of Harold Perkins at linebacker/edge, I don't know if LSU has the personnel defensively that we're used to seeing in Baton Rouge.
Brad, let's stick here in Columbus. What do you think of this Buckeyes team this year? What is their biggest question mark heading into this season? And maybe this will be the same answer for you, but Will Howard, if he's the guy, what do you think of Will Howard as the quarterback at Ohio State?
Yeah, I spoke to one of my sources yesterday who has, seen every practice. He saw the first scrimmage, and he told me that the first-team offensive line is pretty much set, but they haven't been all that healthy this fall because of that bug that went through the team. And that's given some backup guys a chance to sort of impress in front of the staff. I think Ohio State's offensive line, if it is one of the better offensive lines in the country, most of them expect it will be, that's where their bread will be buttered. 2,000-yard capable backs. I don't think Will Howard, the transfer from Kansas State, has to be a Heisman finalist in order for this offense to be good. But I do think he has to be better than Kyle McCord was last season, because there were times, guys, that, despite Ohio State being 11-0 heading into that Michigan game, where you just didn't really think McCord was a difference maker at that position. And, I sort of had them same reservations about Will Howard, because Kansas State wasn't necessarily trying to pull him back when he went in the portal because of Avery Johnson. So we are going to see multiple quarterbacks play this season, I do think. The quarterback room at Ohio State outside of Texas is absolutely loaded, and I'm actually looking forward to seeing Julian Saying later on in his career. He's a guy, the former 5-star from Bama, that Kalen DeBoer hated to see leave for the portal.
Brad, I remember years ago when Tua took over, it took us a while to, really grab a hold of his last name, and it took us a while to get used to that. What are we doing down at Tennessee? Is it Nico Iamaleava? Do I have that right? Because this seems like a guy we need to know about.
You said it right, man. That's perfect. That is perfect. I've been on video several times with his pronunciation right in front of my eyes, and I still mess it up. So I just call him Nico.
Okay, we'll roll with Nico, and because I know he's a sneaky Heisman guy. Can you think Tennessee's offense will be good enough for him to get in that mix this year?
I've got Tennessee as the 5th best SEC team, man, entering the season, and I think the schedule sets up for success because they're able to, host Alabama. That'll be a night game at Neyland. That's a very tough game for DeBoer, and if they can go on the road and beat Oklahoma in September, maybe start the season 5 or 6-0, and Tennessee's right there in that championship picture.
Sounds good. He's Brad Crawford. Does an awesome job covering the sport of college football as an analyst over at 24/7 Sports. Brad, we're just a couple weeks away, man. Looking forward to talking to you before week 1. Thanks so much.
Thanks for having me, fellas.
There he goes. Brad Crawford was on the Bryant Heating and Cooling Systems fan guest hotline. We'll hit the finish line of the show next. We'll tell the truth. It's Rothman and Ice right here on the Fan.
We are your radio home for the Buckeyes, Browns, and all the NFL games you can handle. We may have a bit of a football problem. Oh, yeah. The Fan, Ohio sports destination.
Experience a piece of history this September and pay tribute to those that have served in the Vietnam War. Delaware County Veterans Services invites you to visit the Wall That Heals from September 12th through the 15th at Havener Park in Liberty Township. Witness the official 3/4 scale replica of the Vietnam Memorial in Washington, D.C. The Wall That Heals is free and open to the public 24 hours a day until 2 p.m. on the 15th. For volunteering opportunities and to learn more, please visit thewallthathealsohio.com.
With surgery and drugs being the main options to treat chronic joint pain, that left orthopedic surgeons like Dr. Ray Tessner thinking,
geez, wouldn't it be nice if we can have another form of treatment that eliminates some of the downside and has a bigger upside as we learn more about it?
And then he found it. Regenerative medicine, an exciting, fast-growing approach to dealing with pain using healing agents from your own body.
Well, it's using the miracle benefits of the human body to help encourage healing.
Today, you'll find Dr. Tessner at QC Kinetics, the nation's leader in regenerative medicine, giving patients lasting relief from joint pain in their knees, hips, shoulders, and back.
It's one of the best management tools that has come around in a long time.
Finally, options other than surgery and steroids. All natural regenerative treatments at QC Kinetics. Learn more. Call today for your free consultation.
Go to qckinetics.com/Columbus or call 380-208-4544. That's 380-208-4544. 380-208-4544.
Billiards Plus has everything for the master griller in your house. Come to their showroom, open the lid, and feel the difference in their grills. Professional top quality equipment at great prices with a huge selection ready to go home with you. Billiards Plus on Dublin Center Drive in Dublin.
Hi, Bob and Teresa Capace here. Anniversaries are a big deal and meant to be celebrated.
Join us for our 24th anniversary at Worthington Jewelers. Enjoy 10 to 60% off to celebrate this event, August 15th through the 17th.
Worthington Jewelers, your local hometown jeweler.
If you have an unhealthy obsession with the Blue Jackets, we have just the remedy. Join us Wednesday nights at 7 for the Inside Edge. All the Jackets and hockey conversation you can handle. The Fan, Ohio sports destination.
Welcome to Nada Yada Island.
This season on Nada Yada Island.
You were charging your phone? I waited hours for you.
That's how long it takes.
Join Metro and get a free Motorola Edge that'll charge for the day in 15 minutes. At Metro, there's no activation fees. Only at Metro by T-Mobile.
Bring your number ID and sign up for Metro Flex Plus plan. Offer not available if at T-Mobile or have been with Metro in the past 180 days. Requires 68-watt charger sold separately. Actual performance will vary.
Hey, John, why so glum?
I just got let go. The company's downsizing. This is the third time in the last 2 years. I'm done with this.
Have you thought about My Computer Career? I've heard they can train you for a career in IT in just a few months, including cybersecurity and the basics of AI. And you don't need prior training or experience. Now that's a recession-resistant career.
Wow, thanks. I'll check them out.
Go to mycomputercareer.edu and take the free career evaluation. mycomputercareer.edu. Financial aid is available for qualified students, including the GI Bill.
Hey, it's Bobby. When it comes to tackling a project as important as your roof, you want a company that cares about the product and experience they're going to deliver. At Newman Roofing, you're more than just a number. They believe in 100% customer satisfaction. And for your roofing needs, give them a call at 614-NEW-ROOF or newmanroofing.com.
It's time that we face the facts when it comes to organ, eye, and tissue donation. It exists to save and heal lives. It's a way to look out for one another, to continue a legacy and give the gift of a fuller future, the gift of life.
But what about the barriers around organ donation?
Cost, age, religion, race, or health status are not factors that can get in the way. All it really takes is one epic yes. Register today to become an organ, eye, and tissue donor at donatelifeohio.org.
Score a goal with the Love My Crew checking account from Pathways, the checking account that rewards you for supporting the crew. Learn more at pathwayscu.com. Pathways Financial Credit Union, official credit union of the Columbus Crew, federally insured by NCUA.
The Fan Guest Hotline is sponsored by Right Way Heating and Cooling and Bryant, doing whatever it takes to keep you and your home comfortable. The Fan.
Tell the truth with Rothman and Ice.
Sponsored by Twin Peaks, home of the 29-degree draft beer.
All right, CB, what have you been cooking up today? What do we have and tell the truth?
All right, so we did take my first question a little bit, so I'm going to change it to have a different phrasing of it. But we talked about the Hellman's Will Levis mayo-scented perfume that's coming out. I want to phrase it as this. If I forced you to find an NIL deal or a sponsorship deal like this to make your own perfume scented like a type of food item out there, what would you pick?
Oh, it'd be a Snickerdoodle cookie. Snickerdoodle cookie.
That's a good one.
Cologne right there. It's something about, I love Snickerdoodle cookies. You get that, that sugar cookie with that cinnamon sugar, dashing on that. I feel like you wear that when it's fall out. That might work for you. So I'm going Snickerdoodle cookie.
I like how you did that with your hand there. I'm not sure what you were doing over there. But
making it rain cinnamon sugar. Come on.
So I got two. One, because I love the smell of them. Can we get some, Rooster's hot wings?
That's a tough sell.
And then,
hey girl, what's up? You like my buffalo wing cologne I got on?
And then there is nothing like walking in the door and a pot roast has been in the crock pot all day. Yeah. So give me the smell of a nice pot roast.
Yeah, you can just get that. I mean, that's what I kind of love about the cool weather, because combine that with what you said, you get comfy on the couch. You got your potatoes in there with the roast. I like to throw a little dash of Red Hot on there. A little hot sauce drizzle in there. I'm not mad at it. Bacon? How you feel about bacon? Can we get away with bacon?
It's pretty good, too. I think that could work for a lot of people.
Bacon's always a win.
Just remember, it's not a lie if you believe it.
All right, I saw some different publications like On3 put out the 12-team playoff format right now. If you just used the AP poll that dropped yesterday, and these were the first-round matchups. You had Ole Miss versus Notre Dame, Alabama versus Penn State. You have Oregon versus Boise State, and Texas versus Michigan. Now, those last two would actually be repeat matchups because Boise State does play Oregon in the regular season, and we already know Texas will go to Michigan. I believe that's week 2. But my question to you is, thinking of those 4 matchups, if you got those guaranteed right now, which of those matchups would be the most intriguing one for you?
So initially you look at Michigan and Texas, but I already know, obviously, as CB said, that we're going to see that this year. Mm-hmm. I think the Ole Miss Notre Dame one for me. Making Notre Dame play an SEC team, and I think Ole Miss is going to be pretty good this year. I think that's the one that would Marcus Freeman versus Lane Kiffin. I think that's the one that gets me.
We had Brad Crawford on in our previous segment talking about college ball, and he mentioned right out of the gate just the injuries in LSU, Notre Dame. They're dealing with that too. They're what was supposed to be their starting left tackle.
Stud offensive lineman.
Yeah, he's out. So you lose Joe Alt to the NFL. He's a high draft pick, and then the guy that you had in your mind to replace him is now going to be out for the year. But I'm with you on Ole Miss, man. I like the intrigue around them because they spent a lot of money, this offseason with NIL stuff and brought a lot of dudes in for the portal. CB, I'm going to go with Bama and Penn State because you're talking about 2 quarterbacks and Drew Aller and Jalen Milroe, who both are dealing with new offensive coordinators now in the mix. And you're also talking about 2 quarterbacks that really might have to be aircraft carriers because there hasn't been a ton of noise about either program's wide receivers this offseason. We saw last year what Kalen DeBoer did with Michael Penix Jr. and Adunze and Polk and those guys, and that was a fun show week in and week out. Is the same thing going to happen for Jalen Milroe? And I would like to see those guys, 2 different skill sets. Milroe is electric with his legs. He's one of the best at pushing the ball down the field. Drew Aller's kind of that traditional Big Ben style of quarterback, 6'5", 6'6", wants to stand in the pocket and cook you from there. So I'm going to go with 2 squads that have intrigue around their quarterback, 2 new offensive coordinators, and some boring-ass jerseys. So give me Penn State and Alabama.
And that, my boy, is a damn truth.
All right, today's fan poll, it's a little interesting because I saw some reporters at Bengals camp say that Jamar Chase has not been seen at practice, which is a little different because while he hasn't been practicing, he has been present every single day. So this would be the first day that maybe he's not actually there. But we'll find out more later. But the question is, will the Bengals sign Jamar Chase to a contract extension before the regular season starts? Yes or no?
I mean, when Mike Brown came out and said that they don't do deals when the season starts or the time to do them is the offseason, I'm like, really? Now, the difference between CeeDee Lamb and Jamar Chase is Jamar's got a couple years left on his deal, but to me, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. So, look, deadlines get deals done. They're not going to go into the year without Uno out there because they know Higgins is gone after this year, and this could be their last true chance, I guess, in the minds of some, to be as elite and potent offensively as they have been in the last couple of years. So I'm going to go with yes, because I think when we're looking at 5, 6, 7 days out from the regular season start and bake, that ownership's going to fold and they're going to bend the knee. And Jamar Chase is going to get an extension done.
I don't think that they will, just because this is kind of the Bengals' MO. And Mike Brown, you mentioned it. He's already kind of talked about this. He's got multiple years left on this contract. If this was next offseason, yeah, I would say it gets done, because I think then you see Joe Burrow jump in and be like, hey, you get this done now.
He needs to jump in now. That's what he needs to do, because this is just stupid.
That's the only way it'll happen, I think, is if Burrow steps in and says, hey, guys, we got to get this done. But I don't think they will get it done before the season starts.
It's crazy.
Just find out right now today is true.
All right, working with this one on a fly. I just saw this on ESPN. I don't know if you saw the post from Jeff Darlington the other day, but he took a photo of a lizard that was in his restroom toilet. He is a Florida man, so you got to know you're going to find some crazy stuff happening in your homes in Florida. But he said that while the lizard tried to go back down the drain, he grabbed it by the tail, removed it, and then moved it to a safe place. Ice, specifically, I do know you're not a big fan of these little animals like lizards and whatnot. Would you have had the courage to grab the lizard by the tail, pull it out, and take it to safety?
I'm closing the lid of the toilet, and I'm flushing the toilet repeatedly. And I'm not opening it until I feel like that thing is gone. I'd be terrified. I'm not built like that. I couldn't do it, babe.
Listen, lizard, if you came in that way, you can get yourself out that way. I ain't worried about you in the toilet bowl. Just don't clog my commode.
Oh, man.
The truth shall set you free.
If you missed anything from our show today, that includes Jared Dubin talking NFL, John Steppe, who covers Iowa football, and Brad Crawford, who covers all things college football, wherever you get your podcast. Type in Rothman and Ice. All of that and more will be waiting for you. Don't forget to subscribe to the Rothman and Ice podcast as well. Coming up, 3 to 6, Timmy's in for Bone again, and apparently at 4:20, Common Man's going to make Timmy eat something disgusting from the kitchen upstairs.
Boy.
And if you missed that last time, that did not go too well.
Here's another week
Timmy
off
Hall.
for Timmy.
Bake, appreciate you, big dog. Thanks for coming in.
Thanks for having me.
Anytime, big dog. CB, great job on the board. Folks, thanks so much for your time. We'll be back tomorrow at high noon. It's been Rothman and Ice right here on The Fan.
This promo is brought to you by Common Man and Timmy Hall's ping pong game. The Fan. This is a Fan Action Update.
The Guardians find themselves back tied with the most wins in Major League Baseball with 70, tied with the Orioles, Yankees, and Dodgers. The Guardians are minus 210 to win the AL Central. They have the fourth best odds to win the American League at plus 650, and the seventh best odds to win the World Series at 18 to 1. Dodgers are the current World Series favorite at plus 310. For your action update, I'm Scotty Vegas.
Hey, what's up? It's T-Bone. If you need a new roof, but you're not sure you can afford it, no problem. Right now, Able Roof is offering no payments, no interest until 2026 for qualified buyers. Yep, that's the same Able Roof that's been voted the #1 roofing company in Columbus by Consumer Choice Awards 22 years in a row. One more, Able Roof will give you up to $1,000 off a new roof, siding, or windows. This is a limited time offer, so call Able Roof today.
Call Able for the proof. 444 roof.
Hey, it's Anthony for the Good Feet store. 3 words for me, pain-free summer. Spent probably 30 hours walking around the Memorial Tournament and felt awesome with my personal arch supports from the Good Feet store in my everyday kicks. Sure, every now and then we all get random foot pain from pickleball or golf or just being a human being. Having my personally fit arch supports in my shoes has made a massive difference. And even right after I put them in, didn't take long to feel much more supported and aligned, and it's so easy to just move them into any pair. Before I had them, I dreaded being on my feet for any length of time. Well, you have nothing to lose but the pain, as they say. It's a free fitting and test walk. Try them for yourself. See the difference it can make. It did for me. And best of all, you can wear them home. 2 locations on Polaris Parkway and Stringtown Road, or schedule an appointment at goodfeet.com. The Good Feet store, America's arch supports experts.
People can't say enough amazing things about Vanscoy Hair Clinics. Men and women struggle with hair loss every day, and they completely change their lives. Vanscoy Hair Clinics is the only company in Ohio that has PRP, platelet-rich plasma, and a multi-unit hair grafting hair transplant procedure. Go to vanscoyhair.com for more info or call 614-432-8042. Here's what some of their hair transplant clients have said.
Around 26, 27, I lost almost all of my hair on top. It changed my life in ways that I cannot imagine.
My hair is going to continue growing for the rest of my life.
There is hope that you can do something about your hair loss.
Multi-unit hair grafting gives you 3 times more hair per procedure, saving you time and money. Hair transplants are more affordable than ever, and PRP is a fast, easy, and effective 45-minute treatment for thinning or damaged hair. Call Vanscoy for a free consultation, 614-432-8042, or visit vanscoyhair.com. That's 614-432-8042. Find out what procedure will restore your hair.
This is Paul Keels for Nature Stone Flooring, a unique blend of natural stone and their specially formulated epoxy expertly installed over existing concrete. Nature Stone is the only flooring solution for garages, basements, and indoor spaces. Family owned and operated since 1989, no other company or product can match the features, benefits, and unconditional warranty of an authentic Nature Stone floor. Visit naturestone.com today and schedule your cost estimate. Act now and save up to 50% off any Nature Stone floor. It's not just a floor, wow, it's Nature Stone.